right. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody. I'm back from vacation. You couldn't get rid of me forever. You couldn't get rid of me forever. I am back. It's true. I made it through SeaWorld and Disney World, all of it. I made it and we're back. Friday night special. Dial it up. Crank it up. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. Right off the jump, I'm going to tell you this. This is a motley crew. I'm looking at the phone lines. I'm looking at the people in the chat. This is a lively crew. That's all I'm going to say. It's good to be back. It felt awkward to be gone. I'm happy to be back in my routine, and I'm happy to have you guys be heard and seen. Thank you for being here. I got a already I'm laughing. Look at this super chat I got up on the board. It's brilliant. $4.99, $5 holler from Mark. This is brilliant right off the jump. Absolutely brilliant. Welcome back, John, and the Always Irish Show, the home of misdirected passion. That is absolutely beautiful, Mark. And I'm not just saying that because he gave me $5. I'm saying it because what you're saying is absolutely hilarious and brilliant. I believe it's a direct reference to a certain email that came out not that long ago in Notre Dame land. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much. It's great to be back. We're going to get back in our routine. I'm going to start doing the call-ins again. The vacation, it was a long one. I'm not going to lie, but we had a lot to do and a lot to see. So we were gone a while. Here's the deal today. Here's the deal. Fridays, everybody know Fridays are more relaxed. I think certain people may even indulge in a drink or two on these Friday night shows. Not yours truly. That would be inappropriate. It would be deeply inappropriate for me to engage in that activity on a Friday night show. I'll never do it. Okay, that being said, here's what I want to do. I feel bad because I've been gone and I've had strong opinions on things that have been going on while I've been gone. Okay. I put out shows. I put out articles on Irish Wire. Check it every day. Make it a part of your Notre Dame Google routine every day. I put out articles. I put out shows. I have strong opinions on what's been going on and my angles on it. Here's what I feel bad about. What I feel bad about is I put this stuff out, then I go on vacation. I didn't have the live shows. So there's no way for you guys to respond to what I've been saying and writing. I want you to feel free to do that tonight if you want. If you want, feel free. That doesn't mean, oh, John, you're awesome. I agree with everything you said. If you disagree, call me. That's what this is for. I want to give you guys a voice, and I have felt guilty being on vacation and putting stuff out and not giving you guys a chance to call back or to push back or say, John, you're saying what we thought. You know, thanks for saying that. All of that. All of that. So I already see the phone lines lining up. Okay, so I'm going to get through what I want to get through real quick. Super chats are coming in. Phone calls. I owe you guys. I owe you in the mission of this show. I owe you your time. All right. So I want to get into that. Let you guys anything. It could be anything. Anything at all. What happened with the OC situation? If you want to go revisit Jack's email and all that, if you even want to go back to that period, I understand if you don't, and we just want to move on and look at spring, we could do that. It's all on the board. We have a lot of catching up to do, and I want to give you guys a chance to do that. Thank you for being here. Happy Friday, everybody. Here's the other thing. I hope everybody's staying safe. We have bad weather today. Yeah. Welcome back to Illinois, John. I'm in Florida. Everything's beautiful. I didn't see a cloud for about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. I didn't even see so much as a cloud. let alone rain. And now back to reality. I come back and everything falls apart. Sleet, just this morning, rain, sleet, snow, wind, you name it, I can claim it. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. Okay, and it feels good. So let's get through the propers, get through the introduction, and we'll go from there. The call banks are lining up. I want to give you guys a shot. Anything you want. The board is open. I've been off the grid, so the board is open to you. The board is open to you, okay? So YouTube, if you're here, hit subscribe. I appreciate that. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps more than you realize on YouTube. Notifications on so you're alerted every time I get a crazy idea and we fire up the phone lines. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want me, you can get me, except for the last week because I haven't had time to rip them to MP3 from video. So I guess I'm telling a lie, but I'll get caught up, I promise. Call in line 312-900-8815. Tell Johnny all you heard and seen. Fighting Irish Wire every single day. Hardworking people. Hardworking people putting in that effort on Irish Wire, writing articles every single day. Every day. Number one call. The first call. I missed this guy. Number one call. I know your area code. 612. I'm going to John first. Dr. John is going to be first up when I get through what I need to get through. Hang tight, John. I miss you and I love you. I miss you, my man. I feel like we've been separated. I miss you. All right. So here's the deal. Let me know any of your reactions to anything that happened with how the offensive coordinator search ended up, all that kind of stuff. Feel free to let it rip on that. Any reactions, you could disagree with any of my opinions about anything. That's what this forum is for. Too many people who do what I do just want to hear themselves and just put out what they want to put out, and then you got to deal with it. I don't operate that way. It's more healthy if there's a mix here where we could all mix it up, okay? It's going to be your time tonight. So aside from if anybody wants to go back to any of the stuff that's happened, I also wanted to kind of move this forward a little bit and look at this spring and this spring session. And I want to know what you guys need to see to feel comfortable when spring ends after blue and gold. And then we enter this long layoff, the dog days of summer, where you sit there every day in the sunshine and you wonder, when September rolls around, what are our boys going to look like? Okay. So my primary focus tonight is kind of what you want to see and hear out of this spring. There's been a lot of uncertainty, iffy stuff going on behind the scenes, some bad media stuff, PR, the OC fiasco, whatever. Let's move this forward. The best thing that could happen right now to me, in my opinion, the best thing is getting into spring ball. Because then you're going to have actual football to talk about, not all the behind the scenes stuff that makes us look bad and all that. The best thing that could happen right now is get into spring football. Let's get some actual football going on to respond to and to write articles about, do shows about, okay? So that, to me, is the best thing that could happen. So that's the framework that I'm kind of starting from. Is I am fully ready to get into this practice session and start seeing those articles about actual on the field football, not all the drama behind the scenes. That's going to be healthy for Notre Dame, nationally, everything. So let's get into that. So first things first, let's do a roll call. Patrick Cotter, he's here. I got news for you guys. Just got back from Florida, and the first thing I did when I got back yesterday is tell Pat we got to have a debate. So Pat and I fired it up last night, and we had a debate about a lot of different Notre Dame things, and this spring being a big part of it. Those shows are going to come out over the weekend and then into next week. Him and I debating some of what is most important this spring. What do you need to see as a Notre Dame guy or girl to feel good about stuff going in this layoff? All right. So that debate is coming on what is most important. All right. So stay tuned. Garen says, good to see you, Garen. Stop hemorrhaging coaches. The title of this is what do you need to see? Stop hemorrhaging coaches. I mean, I can't argue with that. Here's what I'm going to say, though. You're not going to like this. None of you are going to like this if you're Notre Dame fans. The coach you need to be worried most about hemorrhaging is Marcus Freeman. Okay? Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to think about it. That's the one you need to worry about hemorrhaging. And that's not a new opinion for me. That's an old opinion for me. The second all the tweets came out about the offensive coordinator situation with Ludwig, my number one concern was not on the field. Parker's going to be just fine. Like, that's not an issue. Parker's going to be fine. The concern I had is you can't have some sort of issue where there's a rift between Marcus and Jack or Marcus and the administration, and then he's not happy. Like, year two's way too early to have that kind of issue. And right when the stuff happened with Ludwig, I said, my number one concern is not on the field. It is big picture. The relationship between Freeman and the administration, I can't have go sour this early. All right? So that's the big one you need to worry about. And I know Marcus said he has full support. And I know a lot of people said, John, that's just you worrying, but everything seems fine. We all moved on. I'm just telling you, my number one chief concern with everything ever since the first tweet came out negatively about what happened with the Ludwig deal was, my number one concern is whether we see it or not, Marcus Freeman feeling slighted, like he's not getting full support from the administration, is my number one chief concern from now till Freeman's not here, whenever that is. It's my number one concern. That is not new as of today. My first response to all that happening was that issue. So I don't care what Marcus says in a presser. I don't care if Jack emails me asking me for money. I don't care. That is my number one concern moving forward, and it shouldn't be one, but it is one. You cannot worry about it if you don't want to worry about it. I'm worried about it. So that's my deal. Nick Dean, what do we got? Great to see another Friday show. Go Always Irish. It feels good to be back. I feel rusty. I feel like I got to get back in the groove, man. I got to get back in the groove. Nick Dean, good to see you, Nick. Does anybody think Buckner will challenge Hartman for the starting job? No. Like, he's going to try, but I don't see a world where if they're both healthy, Buckner beats Hartman out. I don't. And I feel bad for Buckner because everything he's been through. We go through this every time I do a show and we talk about Buckner. All the injuries, all injury after bad luck injury, and then sitting behind the statue of Cone, and then last year, and then Hartman. It's just been a lot. It's been a lot. And I feel bad for him. But I am certain that this is a legitimate open competition. I just have a hard time not seeing Hartman win it. Like, I have no doubt that it's being framed as an open competition this spring. I just really honestly have a hard time seeing Buckner beat him out. Now, what that means from that point on for Buckner, I don't know. Does he leave and go, you know what? Luck of the Irish, my backside. I've had nothing but bad luck. I'm going to go play somewhere. I don't know. But I have no doubt this is a legitimate open competition. I just have a hard time seeing Buckner winning it. That's my position. And I just feel for the guy. Nothing but bad luck. Like Shamrocks for Notre Dame, not really. He has had bad luck. So That's how I see that going. What else do we got? Let's scroll through here. Here we go already. Pat says, absolutely. Why is he still at Notre Dame if he doesn't have a chance? I think my answer to that would be, if you're a competitor at that level and you used to be a 5-star guy, you have confidence in yourself that you could win that job. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe it's just that simple, that he still believes in himself that he could win that job, whether they bring this guy in or not. So maybe that's the easiest answer. Does he stick around if he doesn't win it? That I don't have the answer to. Wait and see. I don't have the answer to that. I don't know. I will say this. If you could roll into this year with a Hartman-Buckner 1-2 punch, that puts Notre Dame in a fabulous position, especially if both of them stay upright, which would be wonderful for once if they were both alive and upright. So that'd be great. Love it. Special package. I'm all for that. If you wanted to mix it up and have Buckner do some run package, throw people off, I love that. So I don't know, but I feel for Buckner because his timing and luck has been garbage ever since, even before he graduated high school. Had the ACL, like he's had some bad luck. Think about just high school, forget Notre Dame. ACL, okay, lost a year there. Then moves high schools for better competition to prep for Notre Dame, and then it's the COVID year, none of it happened. Like, before he even got to Notre Dame, bad luck. This dude, it's just bad luck. I feel bad for him. I do. Let's see. What is this? The Sunset Kid, good to see you. John, you should start a church and call it the First Church of Always Irish. Build it and we will come. I appreciate your support, Sunset Kid, but don't you think it's a little dangerous for a guy like me to start a church? Like, let's be honest about that. Now, the fact that I've spent the last decade working for a Catholic archdiocese in Chicago, in the Chicago area, I'm close to starting a church. I've been working for the church for over 10 years till recently. But that's a good one. I might consider that. Let's see. What else do we got? Buckner can be useful if Parker gets creative on short yardage, goal line, and crappy weather games. There's definitely a usage for him there. The question becomes, is he willing to sit there and just not be the starter for a whole nother year? Like, that's the question. Or is he ready to up and leave if he doesn't get the job, or it looks like in spring? I don't know. That's just the way these things go. So I don't know. I have the answer to that, other than I feel bad for him. What else do we got? I'm not saying Buckner's going to beat him out. I'm just saying Buckner has been told nothing is promised to anybody and has a chance to show himself, says Pat. Absolutely right. And that's the way this should be played. In that dynamic, I have a very hard time seeing Hartman not winning that duel. That's all. Here's the other thing you got to think about. When I want to ask about spring and what the future looks like in next year for Notre Dame and all that, think of the position Notre Dame's in if the starting quarterback is just playing all year. Think of how much further ahead all of this stuff is if that guy, whoever it is, just stays healthy. Last year was just going into last year, the number one thing I said is Buckner has to both be good and healthy for anything to be anything near what it has to be year one of Marcus Freeman. For any of those goals to be reached, Buckner had to stay healthy and be pretty good. That didn't last a week and a half. It didn't last a week and a half. And then we're in a crappy spot. It's a bad deal. But those are how the chips fell. But when you look at next year, if whoever the starter is in one piece, this is miles ahead of what it was last year. Right away. Daniel Wade, good to see you. What's up, my fellow crazy bastards? I'm offended by that. Just kidding. I love it. Good to see you. Yeah, Mark with glasses. I think Buckner knows what's up. The guy's been around football long enough. He's got to know what's up. It's just a matter of what's going to happen after, I think. So, I mean, it is what it is. I can't blame Freeman or anybody else for going after the best quarterback on the market. That's what you're supposed to do. Put your team in the best position to win the next year. Look at this. My brother, what's he doing here? I figured he'd be sick of me. He had to see me in Florida where he lives. Good evening, Patrick and others. Good to see you, Andrew. Rudy, we got a Rudiger in here. We got the Rudy again. I miss you, Rudy. Good to see you. Listening while running wrestling weigh-ins. The Rudigers, I'm telling you, these people love wrestling. Everybody's like, Rudiger, Notre Dame, football. You all need to know the Rudigers are a wrestling family first and foremost. So I got Angela here running the show on wrestling weigh-ins, making sure everybody's making weight. That's Rudiger to the core, and I love her for it. I love you, Rudy. Oh, that's beautiful. What else do we got? We'll get through the super chats, then we're going to the calls, okay? Everybody's saying hello to everybody. It's beautiful. Bruce, I'm sorry I couldn't meet up with you. Bruce is in Jacksonville. I was in Hobe Sound, and then I was in Orlando for SeaWorld at Disney World. I couldn't meet up with you, Bruce. I had a big van with a big family in it. We just couldn't do it. Sorry about that. Oh, the Heart Foundation. Good to see you. V1 Rotate V2. Beautiful. I love it. Good to see you here. Back from vacation edition of the Always Irish Show. What else do we got? Let's go down. Oh, Dr. John, I miss you. Let's get to the super chats, then we'll get to the calls. Bob Hill, $20 holler. I appreciate it. There isn't even like a mean comment about Jack or anything. $20 holler, Bob Hill. Appreciate it, Bob Hill. Thank you very much. Look at this. Dr. John with a $5 holler. I think he misses me, and he knows I misses him. Adam Dolly. Oh, Adam, it's good to see you. Me and him text every single day, just trying to keep our minds level with Notre Dame. Michael Campbell, good Irish Mojo weekend. Flip Caleb Beasley. That's the idea. D-Rock, your best tweet on vacation was when you were trying to communicate with some LSU wingnuts. I still maintain I did nothing wrong. You do not, D-Rock, you got to bring this up and get me worked up. You do not show up at Disney World at the shopping Disney World thing, and I'm not shopping, so I post up at a bar over this lake. Everybody else is shopping. I just want to sit there and drink a beer. You don't roll in 10 deep, and every one of you is wearing LSU purple, 29, Joe Burrow championship LSU. 10 of them, all decked out purple head to toe. You do not get to make that public of a statement, then act appalled when somebody walks up to you and nicely says, I see that you all like LSU. What do you think of your new coach that I'm intimately familiar with, as you could see from my Notre Dame stuff? These people acted like I was a serial killer. I don't understand. You don't get to make a public statement like that and then act freaked out when somebody asks you about it. You're a walking billboard. You want the attention when you do that. You don't get to act insulted when somebody asks you about it. You don't. When you go out repping your team, it's a public display. That means you need to be prepared that if somebody wants to talk to you about it, you engage. You don't get to do it this way. The women were hiding the children. I didn't pull up a chair and ruin their lunch. On our way out, I stopped by, standing while they're all sitting. They didn't even have their food yet. I didn't interrupt them. They were drinking. They didn't even have their meal. And on the walk out, I just stopped and said, we're in neutral territory here at Disney World. I got my Irish stuff on. You're LSU people. What do you think of Kelly? Nothing. Nothing. The women were terrified, and the men rocking all their LSU gear didn't have a word to say. Oh, what do you think about Polian being kicked upstairs? He's garbage at special teams. Did that happen? I don't know. Did that happen? Don't go out wearing 10 LSU shirts if you don't even know what the hell's going on. It's unacceptable. I did nothing wrong, and they looked at me like I was an axe murderer for no reason. I wasn't even rude. I didn't roll in there and go, oh, Kelly sucks. Screw you guys. I genuinely don't know one LSU fan. This was an opportunity to talk to Tableful. None of them had anything to say. No thoughts. You do not get to do that. It's wrong. I did nothing wrong. And they made me feel like I was a serial killer. Unbelievable. Look at this. Nick Dean, smash mouth, baby. I love that. I like that. I want some physicality. I want physicality. And I want to see Hartman throw the ball around. You do both, you're unstoppable. All right? Here's the deal. I need Notre Dame to be able to run the ball when they want and when they feel like it, and you know it's coming, and you ain't going to stop it. That is what I need. I don't want it. I need it. Okay? Explosive offense is coming. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. $4.99. John, when are we getting merch? It's coming. It's slow, but it's coming. It's slow, but it's coming. I'm working on it. Oh, boy. What else do we got? Look at all this. Man, you guys are good tonight. Woo! All right, let's get to the phones. You guys have waited enough. 612, I'm talking to you. What's going on, Dr. John?
Well, this isn't a doctor call. This is a surrogate grandfather call.
What's going on, doctor?
I think I need to take you to the woodshed a little bit.
About what?
Well, about this whole offensive coordinator thing. I mean, like I said in that email, you weren't in the room. I wasn't in the room. I don't know if your source was even in the room. But anyway, my bottom line question to you would be, could you be wrong?
Could I be wrong about what part?
That the administration and Freeman screwed this up.
I don't think Freeman screwed it up, but I think there was some mistake at some level made somewhere in the process.
Well, now, John, the question was, could you be wrong?
I could be, but the information I've gathered leads me to believe I'm not.
That's good. No, that's all I need. Now my oldest daughter's in the other room reprimanding me. This is not fair. 2 against 1.
Listen,
So,
I could be. There's no doubt a mistake was made somewhere in the process. I'm not sure who made it and where it was, whether it was communication or whatever, but nobody could deny that the way this all presented was wrong. There was a mistake made somewhere, and that rubs me the wrong way.
I don't know. We got some perception problems. There's no doubt about it. But as far as perception about from the rest of this world, the media, and everything else, I don't care. The only two groups I care about, perception-wise, are the donors, but more important, the recruits. What's their perception?
Yeah.
And I got to believe Marcus Freeman and his staff are going to handle that beautifully. I mean, we both agree. I think most everybody agrees. Marcus is a great recruiter, and I think from what I've seen of his staff, most of them are great recruiters, and they're going to handle that. So, yeah, I guess I don't think anything's obvious. I don't think anything is perfectly clear. And the fact that you said, yeah, maybe you could be wrong, That's all. That's all I need.
I mean,
That's all I need.
John, I wasn't in the room.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the room. However, it is clear to me that the way this ended up presenting, something went wrong in the process and it hung Marcus out to dry. And I don't like my guy being put in that position. Something went wrong, and I just expect Notre Dame to run a cleaner operation than that.
Well, and there are some things that are out of their control. And I got to believe that Marcus Freeman does not believe he was hung out to dry. I don't know. I got to accept Marcus at his word.
Yeah, but John, that's where I run into the issue, because he had no choice but to say what he had to say. He had no other choice. If he felt wronged, he can't get up there and say that unless he resigns, and that's not going to happen. So he had to say what he had to say to keep the operation running. So I don't take any stock out of that press conference or anything that Jack says, because it's PR and it was crisis management. Like, if Marcus feels wronged, that's between him and his agent and the administration. He's never going to be able to get up there and say that to us. He said what he had to say. None of us were in the room. All I have is the evidence and the timing that suggests something went very, very wrong here from Notre Dame's end. And it was a mistake. And I'm not exactly sure who it's on or who did it, but something went wrong that made Marcus look really bad. And I don't like that.
Well, I guess I look at it and I don't think Marcus looked bad at all. If I accept what he said, and I do accept what he said, I mean, I got to believe this is a man of integrity, and it's because of his integrity that he's such a good recruiter, I believe.
Yeah, and I believe, John, let me give you this. A part of him having integrity is, even if he feels he was wronged or they don't fully support him or wouldn't cut loose a check that he wanted, a part of him having integrity is covering for the entire operation to make sure it doesn't fall apart, and to get up at the podium and defend the whole thing and then keep it moving. That's a part of integrity to me, is him taking a personal shot to protect the whole thing. That's the ultimate integrity to me.
Well, to me, integrity is telling the truth in every situation.
But you and I both know when you're in one of these football PR situations, that's not always the case. John, all these NFL teams, these NFL teams hire their fifth pick and get up at the podium and tell everybody, we love this guy, it's our number one guy. But they talked to four other guys before that guy who turned him down. And then they say, this was the guy we wanted the whole time. Like, I'm not that naive. I know how the game's played because it's PR. You got to do it. And I think I think Marcus showed integrity by putting on that front that he did and covering that all up and moving on. I think that shows integrity. He could not say, yeah, there was an issue. Yeah, there was a miscommunication. No, they wouldn't write a check. He was never going to say that. He couldn't.
Well, we're gonna differ on this. I guess we're not gonna reach a conclusion.
That's it. You're no longer my surrogate grandpa. I'm in the market for a new one. You're out. It's fine. But John, my number one concern with all of this, it is not practical. I think Parker's going to be fine. My issue is not that. I have honest doubt now of whether Marcus has full and complete support and resources. That is a doubt in my mind from now on, and I don't like the way that feels to me. And everybody doesn't have to feel that way, but it's top of my mind. I don't like how it feels.
Well, I can't do anything about that, but I really feel that he does have total support, and I think we're going to see that as things move forward here.
Man, I hope
So,
you're right.
yeah,
John, I hope you're right. I really do. I hope you're so right. And Parker deserves a clean slate and all the support and everything. And I want him to succeed. There's just no way this can all not rub me the wrong way. And for me to think it wasn't handled right. And Notre Dame's usually so good and clear with messaging. It just bothers me that on this one, that didn't happen.
Well, and I guess I can look at it and say, I don't have a problem with the way things went down. People interpret different things and the media goes nuts. Twitter, like I told you, is not the real world. That goes nuts.
Yep.
And here's how I feel about going forward. I think Marcus is an excellent choice. He's a great guy. I think he does have the full support of the administration, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Going back to one of the things you said about Parker, I don't think they ever said he was our guy from the beginning. But I'll tell you what, when I watched that press conference with him,
home run,
I was impressed. Weren't you?
Yeah, me too. I was supremely impressed. I thought Marcus and Parker handled that whole thing, knowing the heat, knowing the pressure. Both of them hit it out of the park. They did a fantastic job. And I think the irony in all this is, John, as frustrated as I am, I fully expect Notre Dame's offense to be really good next year. That is not my issue. My issue is the worry that there is the crack at the beginning of a rift of Freeman, a guy I love, feeling like he's not getting the full support. And I don't know all the details and all the discussions. My fear is that there's a crack in that foundation. I am not feeling like he's fully backed, and then that's dangerous. I hope that's not the case, but I'm a worrier by nature. Now it's in my mind, and I don't like the way it hits me.
Well, I wish I had a good therapist to refer you to, but I don't.
You are it. What do you mean you're it? What do you mean you're it? You are that. What are you talking about? You're it. Listen, John.
Laughing too hard. What?
Hey, listen. This could be me being neurotic and me being wound so tight and worried about things, and it could be me just overplaying that. But it's just in my mind now that Marcus might deep down feel like he doesn't have the full support, and that worries me. I hope it's not true, but it's my show, and I gotta say what I really feel and worry about, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's legitimate, and I'm feeling really comfortable right now.
But if anybody's gonna tell me, oh, well, the press conference and they said this, so those are all the facts. No, I'm just not going to accept that because I live in the real world and I know how PR goes. You think Freeman got up there and freewheeled that? You don't think there was a meeting about how are you going to handle this specific thing? Here's how you're going to answer it. Like, there's no way they didn't have that discussion. That was all formulaic. There's no way. They knew the heat. They knew the heat. And then they said, you're going to be asked this. It's going to be uncomfortable. Here's how you got to handle it. There was no other option.
Well, the other option was that everything he said was true.
And I hope you're right. I don't believe that, but I want to be wrong. Well, John, I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right on this.
Half full guy.
I don't want to be right on this. I really, really, truly don't.
You got to remember.
I don't.
You got to remember, John, I'm older and wiser. Well, I'm older.
Yeah, we'll give you both. We'll give you both. That's fine. That's fine. But but you're older and wiser. But also, because of that, John, You're older, and you've
Yeah,
seen
well,
Notre Dame.
I'm older, yeah.
You've seen Notre Dame win championships. You know what that feels like. You've been able to strut around town and feel that pride and feel that joy. You also got to understand, I have never. I was 4 years old when we won, and it bothers me to this day. I don't know what that feels like. So I have a different level of intensity for this stuff because I just want to feel that so bad. And I believe in Marcus, and I want him to have all the support.
Well, here's my prediction. You will rejoice in 2 or 3 years.
I hope you're right. Right when the new playoff kicks in, we get a Notre Dame a home playoff game. I love it.
If it doesn't happen in 3 years, don't come looking for me because I'll probably be dead. So you're going to have to take it out on somebody else.
No, come on. You're still going to be around.
My daughter's going nuts in the other room.
You're still...
Okay. Enough of this. A couple of fun things.
All right.
You know, that LSU crew you stopped by.
Yeah, I did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I don't understand where they're coming from. But when I travel, I always wear something Notre Dame. Because I want somebody to say something.
Exactly. So do I. And I'm always ready to. And that's why I packed all Notre Dame stuff to be in a foreign place like Florida and rock that, daring somebody to just say something, to engage. They were horrified, John. I was so pleasant and nice. They were genuinely horrified. The women were shielding the babies. The grandma took the little kid and went to the bathroom. And then the guys looked at me with open mouths when I said, what do you think of Kelly? They didn't have an answer. You don't get to parade around town on display and then not have an opinion. Come on.
Well, I'm gonna build an excuse for him because there is a limited series on Netflix about a serial killer, and he looks an awful lot like you.
Come on. Who, the Golden Gate Killer? Are you saying I look like Bundy? What are we going with here? Which one do I look like?
I'm giving you I'm giving you shit. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
2 more things.
All right, let's go.
Football did build Notre Dame, but book learning is more important than football, John.
But
I still want to win national championship, but it is more important.
I'm not saying that the academics aren't important.
Right.
I'm saying you need to not ever forget what put you in the position for the academics to matter to the extent they do, where if you have a Notre Dame degree, your ROI is more than it is at a lot of other places. And the reason that status exists started from elite football success, and I just can't have them get away from that. They can never forget what built that, and they owe it to keep that going.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. And I'll tell you what, they probably regret that that's the way it is. But that is the way it is.
But John,
that's what made that school. There's no doubt about it.
But John, there's a history here. That's the other thing. There's a history here. With Frank got so good that they ended up putting a governor on Frank and telling him, we don't want to turn into a football factory. You better tone it down. And then when Lou became too big of a celebrity, they clamped down on Lou in the same way. I just have a huge problem that they don't seem to get. When football's great, it makes everything better. Why do I feel like they're not on the same page with that? I feel like they work against that instead of leaning into it. The bigger the football gets, the better it all is. The more people donate, the more people want to be involved. The better football is, the better it is for all of it.
Okay, here's what's going to happen, John. Here's my prediction. Once they get this endowment all in place, they're going to scrap football. It'll be gone.
Then what am I going to have? What am I going to have? The always book learning show? What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Yeah, you're going to have to worry about it. But, for me, I'll be dead.
You're not. Quit saying that. You've said that twice now in 5 minutes. Do you got a medical condition I don't know about? Do you got a medical condition I don't know about?
To get my daughters riled up, okay?
Jeez, now they're worried you're dying on them.
Hey,
come on.
Hey, one last fun thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the quarterback for USC, wasn't his name Caleb Williams?
Yes. Yeah.
You said yes?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I discovered?
What's that?
There was an author named William Godwin. He wrote a book back in 1794. It was kind of one of the first fictional detective type stories.
Okay.
The detective's name was Caleb Williams.
Well, I wonder if he got a Heisman Trophy back then.
I don't know if he did or not. But anyway, I'm going to turn you over to the rest of the crew. God love them. God love them. Keep them happy.
Hey, John, let me tell you this. John, let me tell you this.
What?
I'm going to tell you this. Yeah. I really appreciate you calling and not agreeing with everything I say and pushing back. That is what this is all about. That is healthy for this fan base, for everything. That is beautiful. That is the point of this. That is beautiful. So I'm glad you called and we hashed it out. That's what this is all about.
Well, most grandfathers dote on their grandkids. I hate the little bastards because they took all the attention away from me.
All right, that's it. We got to end this conversation on that. That's the winner. That's the winner. But John, okay, and I got to tell you, Dave,
I'm going to go with my oldest daughter to the Mint Bar and Grill for dinner. Now I'll check the show on my phone from there.
John, I miss you.
Have a good one,
Just
sir.
know
Glad
I miss you. I miss you. Have a good night. See ya.
Okay, I miss you too, buddy.
Later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hey, listen. John could be totally right and I'm wrong. I'm just telling you guys what I'm worried about, okay? All right, here's the deal. I've been alerted I have a minor family situation I need to check on. I'm going to go upstairs real quick. I have something going on I need to check on. Entertain yourselves. I'll be back in 1 minute. I don't know what's going on, but there's something that I need to check on. I'll be right back. Entertain yourselves. Sorry to do this. Oh, boy. All right, we're back. We're good to go. All right. 818, make it great. It's been a while.
John, can you hear me okay?
You got some little static, brother.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Do I got you?
I'm gonna know.
Now I got you. Crystal clear. You're crystal clear. Gotcha. You're good.
Yep. Don't have my car to use that wonderful mic I got in there. Hey, all right, man. Let's get to this. By the way, man, it sounds like you're turning into a werewolf back there, man. Just for a few minutes. Like, what is that howl?
I don't know.
Just saying. All right, let's be sheepish. All right, man, let's get to this. Man, I really saw exactly what Dr. John was saying. I'm very much on the side. Here's the thing. I see the skepticism of, okay, well, this is, of course, what he's going to say. But also, if that is the truth, that is exactly what he should say and what he would say. And it's possible both can be true.
Yeah.
That was the truth. And we have to also present it the way we got to present it, because if we say it, and also, John, I mean, I remember when you mentioned responding right away to that, but there's other ways of looking at it. I'm like, well, do you take that? I see that way of handling it, but also, okay, maybe we let the the ether in the air kind of clear out a little bit, and then when we feel like the right time comes in, then we explain it in full, as opposed to looking defensive and no, that's not what happened. You know what I mean? And dude, it's so possible. A source took something they heard and like, oh, let's get our name, let's put this out there to the world. And then everybody runs with it. And it's like, so in a way, it could, and I'm just saying that's one way of looking at this. It could have been largely out of their control. And I think the way the messaging ended up was correct. Now, again.
But wait a second. All right. Now, wait. Time out. Here's my argument today. I've been down this path. I've analyzed this 1,000 ways.
There's no timeouts in wrestling.
Here's what you do. If you're Jack and then somebody comes to you and says, oh my God, Jack, have you looked on Twitter? You're getting dragged and Freeman and the whole operation looks like crap. You are getting dragged by all of these tweets and all these articles nationally, not just local, nationally. You don't wait 3 days till the house burns into ashes to call the fire department. You go to it. You don't do it yourself, Rodney. You go to a trusted beat guy like Eric Hansen, Pete Sampson, Tom Loy. You go to one of those guys. You tell them your side of the story. So at least in the media, I have two things to look at. Their side and then our side saying, I know there's some stuff out there, but my Notre Dame guys are telling me that's not accurate. Then at least when I go to do my show, I have competing ideas of what the reality is. You don't get to wait 3 days till you're dragged until you're dead nationally to then decide to do something. It's too late. You called the fire department when the house was burned down. Jack either needed to do something right away or not at all. He did it in the middle and then asked me for a donation.
And man, I think it just depends on how you perceive it. And I mean, during the whole period where this is going on, I just kept thinking that, and it's usually the gut feeling that tends to be right. Then I'm like, I think this is so silly.
Something went wrong, man. Something went wrong. I don't know what. I can't tell you what. Something went wrong, and it just rubs me the wrong way, and I don't like it.
John, I think the lesson to be learned is I think we all kind of played it silly. And I mean, every one of us, including Notre Dame, I think we all sort of handled it silly. And so as a fan base, as media, as the administration, the only one I think actually didn't was probably Marcus Freeman and Jared Parker. And
I'm telling you, those guys nailed the press conferences. There's those two nailed it. And listen, I know Freeman's good at it. I know Freeman's polished as can be. Parker nailed it. And Parker knew the media and all the drama. He, even under that microscope and pressure, he nailed it. And I want him to have 100% support. And he has it from me. 100%. But that does not mean I do not have questions in the back of my mind about this dynamic between the Notre Dame head coach and the administration, not all pulling from the same end of the rope with the same strength, pulling at the same. That's important too. Not only pulling from the same end of the rope, but how strongly it's in the back of my mind as a concern, because it's been a historical Notre Dame concern. I'm not making it up. It's been a historical concern of them having these issues, and now it's in my mind. I thought with Freeman, we would get modern, they would lighten up, and it would be more modern. This makes me think maybe it's not as modern as I wanted it. That puts a governor on Freeman. It makes me nervous.
Yeah, I mean, everything makes you nervous. I mean,
that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Yeah,
I'm wound tight.
I mean,
I'm wound tight. I'm wound tight. And I think about things in a certain way. And for me, who's calling plays next year is so much less significant than the head coach and the administration being on the same page. It's not even close. My level of concern, big picture about those things, it's not even close. And I was encouraged until this that Notre Dame really was getting modern and all that and was going to support Freeman, give him what he needs. All of that, I thought, and this just makes me think maybe it's not where I wanted it to be, and that's disappointing. Could I be misreading all this and it was a simple miscommunication? Sure.
Yeah, and I mean, John, I guess, you know, the passion, because part of this, let's be honest, man, part of this, I really do want to get to the football part of this though, but I will say this. Perception is important. It is important, but especially when you feel like because it's like there's two things that are going on. You're a fan of something, and there's tangible, you have a grip on that. And then there's this other thing, and it's the reaction to a fan base that you don't have a grip on. You know, none of us. I mean, it's that, you know, the ant is the guy that's rooting against you. It's fun, but it's maddening at the same time. And that creates its own hysteria. And what I'm saying is,
but none of this is fun. I'm not having fun. You think I wanted to do a show where I had to say the head coach that I love, I question whether he has full support behind the scenes? That ain't fun. Like, I'm not doing it for clicks.
You know what I mean?
I'm not doing it for clicks. I hate it.
It's not fun, but it's not fun, but it's addictive. You know, it's part of who you are. It's part of the algorithm of being a Notre Dame fan and being a fan of college football in general. I mean, we're constant. That doesn't stop. That's part of why we're so into this, is the drama of it all. You know, so but honestly, having said all that, I agree with you 100%, though, man. The administration and the head coach need to be on the same page. I'm just saying, I think they are. I think they are more than it appears right now.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I really do, man. And here's what's really.
But Rodney, I can't believe the amount of Notre Dame fans that work in business that are telling me whatever they say at the podium, take as the 100% truth. I have had 50 Notre Dame people that work in these big corporations tell me whatever they say at the podium's got to be true because it's magical Notre Dame. No, I do not agree with that at all. And I'm shocked so many Notre Dame fans take that as like gospel. It's unbelievable. I am not that naive to just believe every single. Nobody believes everything that's said at a football podium. Did you believe what Kelly said at the podium? Come on.
No, but I'm glad you brought up Kelly, though, because I think that's where a lot of this is coming from. It's Kelly. It's past administrations that have been sheepish with us to say the kindest thing about it. I mean, that's a nice way of putting it. The Wadsworth era, the Father Malloy era, which was not a great era of Notre Dame football, man. You have a lot of that in your review mirror right as you were coming up. And I get it, you know. I think Schwarbrick and Freeman are on the same page. I much more than what it appeared, I think, in that moment. Again, but what we have to do is give Freeman the benefit of the doubt. We find out he's lying about something, or he's lied about this or lied about that, in the kind of way that it matters. Okay, then his credibility is in question. But as of now, he's not.
I don't see it that way.
I
don't see it that way at all. I don't see it that way at all. I see it as a credit to Freeman if he was upset or misled, or there was a miscommunication, or he was frustrated, or whatever happened that ended up with a position where Freeman got up there and polished it all up. And then Parker came after and did a great introduction speech. I do not look at that as like a negative or Freeman not telling the truth. I give him more credit for integrity, for covering the whole Notre Dame nation, for the whole media in the whole country. I give him more credit if he was offended or something didn't work out behind the scenes and he got up there, took the bullets, covered for it all, and said, I have full support, we're moving forward. I give him more credit for that, even if it's not true. Not less. I give him more credit. That takes a lot of guts to be offended personally, but then defend the whole institution publicly. I give him more credit for that, not less.
Right. Yeah, I know. And I see what you mean from that point of view. And I saw exactly where you're going with that. And from that point of view, I see what you mean. What I'm saying, John, is until this thing is played out where we have some time to look back, we won't really know what it means right now. So
nope, I disagree with that too. Rodney, I disagree with that too. I've thought it.
We don't know the future.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If Parker ends up being the best offensive coordinator of all time and Notre Dame averages 50 points a game, all that tells me is Notre Dame got lucky that they made mistakes and it worked out. That doesn't prove the process was correct. They got lucky that it worked out, which puts out the flames. Those are different things.
I'm talking about the PR part of it, though, John. I mean that. Until we get beyond, what I'm saying is, you're right. If this goes back, oh my God, the Notre Dame administration's with all them. This came out, this comes out, and it's like, oh my God, they're terrible. And the way he covered, that was brilliant, and that was beautiful, and that's the way you should handle it, and hurrah. Also, it could be that both are true, that he was speaking earnestly, and also that was what the administration had thought as well. And what I'm saying is, we won't know until we get beyond a certain point if this is something that continues to happen. Then we'll know there's something going on here. Even as you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think it's to that point yet for you to have spent so much time. I mean, I get it. I'm just saying. I don't know. I didn't feel that day I did, the next day I did, but I'm like, all right. Now it's kind of like this was par for the course as an Notre Dame fan. But man, not just the Jared Parker hire, but when you combine that with the Joe Rudolph hire, and I can't pronounce the name, the quarterback's coach.
Googly something. Googly something.
Yeah.
Not the Goog, not our Goog, a different Goog. Googly something else at the end. Yeah, Googly was something else at the end. Then Googly Emmy. Yeah, that's him. I know what you're talking about.
Well, none of the coaches, John, necessarily jump out at me like, oh wow, it's good. They all are good.
Yeah.
And so and the chemistry, I think it played a real important. So I'm not going to sit here and try and pull anybody's chain that Jared Parker was definitely his first choice. I'm not going to say that at all. But I think he was higher up on the list than people think. And I think that was part of what was happening with who he was. Well, obviously it was to some degree, but with who he was interviewing, how is that chemistry going to line up with who we're going to get as the offensive line coach? And I think at the end of the day, while it may have been the second choice or whatever, I think the three that he matched up together, you got now every coach on the offensive side of the ball, I think, is a good coach. The running backs coach, Parker's thing at the
I have never questioned that part of it, though. Like the irony, but the irony in all of this, in my position, the biggest irony, and I admit it, and it's contradictory in nature, is I have been mad about this while also at the same time saying, I think Notre Dame's offense is going to be really good next year, way better than last year. Both can be true. That I still think the offense is going to look really good, and I still don't like the way this feels and have a lot of questions behind the scenes. Both of those can be true.
Yes, I agree. And I think if we were talking about the head coach, I would be much more, still thinking about this and really letting it eat away at me. But I just think the offensive coordinator position, I think we're making a little bit, I think everybody made too much a big deal about it. I think we all did. I think even Storbeck's response to it, I took it a lot different. I took it as humor, and I don't even do it humor, but it was like kind of offensive humor to some people. I didn't take it that way. But I understand why
I took it as the guy trolling us. He was telling us that our passion's misguided, and donate if you want to bitch about money, donate.
But that's the thing. I feel like he was trolling the media. Like, yeah, you're right, guys. We don't have any money. So hey, guys, if you want to donate to us, that's the way I took it. Yeah, you're right. We don't have the money to pay things. Yeah, we're poor. So please, give us a handout. You see how if you can interpret it a different way? Well, we saw it text. I didn't hear Swarbrick up there saying those words. And I'm telling you, man, I got a feeling we may have missed. That's the way I took it when I was reading it on air. I'm like, oh, I see how they're like saying certain things with those words to try and make it sound. But I'm like, wait a second, I don't necessarily see it that way necessarily. It was ambiguous. It was auspicious.
I think
I don't know.
I read it as Jack was appalled and couldn't believe he ended up in a position.
Always appalled.
That's my next channel. I'm starting a second channel, and it's always appalled. Okay, I got always Irish. No, I got always Irish. I got always annoyed. I'm gonna have always appalled coming up next. Stay freaking tuned. Stay tuned.
Always an axe murderer.
Oh, yeah, that's if you ask the LSU people, they'll think I was. They must be friends with Kelly. Kelly must have told him to look out for me. By the way, 727, I'm 727. I'm coming to you next. I see you, 727. And if you are who I think you are, stay tuned. You're coming up next. Don't hang up. 727. I got you. Go ahead.
The way you painted the picture of that whole situation, man, that was so brilliant.
Dude,
I could imagine
the women were shielding the kids, like covering the kids, like something bad's gonna happen. They were scared of me.
They probably weren't even LSU fans. They probably just had the gear we're wearing, and they didn't know who the hell you were talking about.
Now wait. Now I got to push back on that. When I was asking myself after that interaction, and it was awkward. And I asked myself when we were leaving, was I out of line there by just assuming these people like should know about football because they're wearing LSU stuff? Multiple of them were wearing shirts with patches of the Joe Burrow championship LSU team. That tells me you're inviting football discussion, and I didn't do anything wrong. I did nothing wrong, man.
Oh, you did nothing wrong. But that's even more so to back up my point. Yeah, we're just, oh yeah, Joe Burrow, look at us, you know what I mean? I don't know that he knows no crap about football, but I just think that's probably what it was, man. He probably didn't know what the hell you were talking about. But I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know. But I can imagine that happening. I can totally see you being in a bad luck situation like that, where you just happen to be.
Dude, you know me. You know me. There is no way in the world I'm on vacation and a table of 10 people wearing purple, I'm not going to say something. Like, there's no reality where that's going to happen. It's just not possible.
Oh my God! That would have been priceless. Just because I felt what you. I would do the same thing, man. I would do the same thing, and I'll get the same look, and I'll be like, what?
I'm telling you, the one girl married to this guy was in the picture. You could see her looking at him like, "Are you gonna handle this?" Like her look, her bitchy look. Are you gonna handle this? That was her look. Look at the picture. Pull up the picture. And you could see her looking at him like, are you going to fight this guy? Are you going to handle this situation? You could see it in her face. They were terrified of me. It was a bad look for the LSU fan base. Bad look.
Hilarious, man. All right, man. Go on with get some other callers on the phone.
Listen, let me tell you this. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I could be overanalyzing it. I could be over worrying it. I worry about things a lot of normal people don't. I admit I worry a lot. And it's just the biggest negative that could happen in the whole program right now is Freeman having a crack in the foundation of the relationship between him and the administration. And this issue makes me worry that that might have occurred. That's all. I don't know for sure, but it's my worry.
Well, again, I think, well, I guess the way I look at it as, okay, this is strike one of many. Okay, we see strike two coming within a week or two, strike three come a week. Okay, then, okay, like you said, where there's smoke, there's fire. Now we got to look at a trend. But I guess I'm not there yet. And I think, I'm just here to relax you, man. I'm here to tell you everything.
I need that. I need that. Honestly, I appreciate your friendship and I need that. I need people that love Notre Dame, but that could balance me out a little bit. I admit that. I need that. It's healthy for me.
Well, and Don, part of it is like I know this. I am still just like you, man. Just when I get emotional, there was a time when I was even more like you. Wow. That's why when I first saw you, I was like, oh my God, this was me 10 years. We're, literally 10 years apart. And it's exactly who I was. And it's like, I've gotten a little more perspective now, but I'm still, anyway, so I get you, man. I feel you. I'm just telling you, that's just my feeling, man. That's just where it's going through me. Is my feeling on this is that we've all of us, everybody, the cosmos, the college football cosmos, made more of it than what it is. And we'll see.
Yep. Nope. We'll see. And the other thing that bothers me with this too is some of this we're never going to get full answers to. And I know that. Sure. Like this is something where I'm probably never going to get a factual sure. Like I wasn't in the room, you weren't in the room, nobody was. And that's another thing where you're just going to have to have an opinion and then whatever. I just pray that there isn't some slight Marcus feels that is souring him on all this behind the scenes. That's my biggest worry. I don't want it to be reality, but when a situation like this happens, that is where my mind goes. It's the most natural place for my mind to go.
I understand. Man, one thing is definitely for sure. Ever since the hire and ever since Kelly left, it has been a nonstop news cycle for Notre Dame football like I've never seen in years and years and years to this degree, where it's literally every other week.
Yeah. Yep. It's wild. It's wild. But listen, I appreciate you calling. I like the pushback. Never hold back on that. Just like I told John, it's healthy. And you guys, you're personal friends in real life. You guys are friends I talk to. I met with, we hang out. Push back on me whenever you think I'm out of line. I want it.
Great show, though, man. Great show. It's just fun.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back, man. Hey, are you going to go to the Blue and Gold? Will you be in town for that?
Oh, of course. You're going, right?
I think I have to go. There's so much to see that's new. I think I got to be a part of it. So we'll be in touch.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. This is one I'm looking forward to.
Yep, there's a lot to watch. So we'll be in touch. We'll meet up for Blue and Gold. See you in a few weeks.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Later, brother.
See you soon.
See ya.
Brother, take care.
Oh, this is an energetic situation we have tonight. Let's just put it that way. Michael Parks, 727. I got you next. And then 517. I got you as well. Michael Parks. Shut up, John. At this point, it's just clickbait. Relax. It ain't the end of the world. That's fine if you think that. But this is my show, so I'm going to say what I think. You can disagree, and that is fine with me. I am not telling anyone else what to think. I'm just saying this is what I'm worried about. You could call it clickbait all you want, but I'm very uncomfortable running this show, which was branded in 2016 as truth telling no matter what I think, whether it's good for Notre Dame or bad for Notre Dame. And then people wanting me to be in a position to cover for Notre Dame when I think we messed up. That puts me in an awkward spot. Do you know how many Notre Dame people emailed me saying, you need to cool it on this because it's making us look bad? And you keep talking about this isn't helping, and you need to kind of cover for us, and we all move on and look to spring football. I don't operate that way. And even when it hurts me and Notre Dame, I got to say what I really think. And that's why that's why I have this platform. It's because there is no polish. I don't shine up turds. I just say what I feel and think based off what I see. Nobody else has to agree with me. You don't. I hope you guys aren't worrying about the things I'm worried about. It ain't healthy. I'm just telling you how I worry. Telling you how I worry. Prime time, $4.99. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Missed the live shows. Here's a good one, Pat. I know you're still on the line or on the chat. This caller's making me angrier than Pat. That's the ultimate. And I know Pat's sitting there and he's watching and he's smiling at that one. That's like the ultimate compliment for Pat, is for somebody to say they made him more mad than him. 727. Are you who I think you are?
We're going to keep my identity anonymous, okay?
Do we really have to do that, or are you just saying that?
Oh, both.
All right. What's on your mind tonight, 727?
Listen. It's I was about 20 minutes in sitting on the line, and I was thinking, I kind of want to get back to what I was doing, which is a whole lot of nothing, by the way. My wife's out of town. I have nothing going on. And I was like, man, I'm 20 minutes in. I feel like I've committed. So I am just going to wait as long as it takes for me to finally get on your show as a caller. So here I am, John.
You're on. I mean, I saw your name pop up and I wanted to give you the time. You do a lot of really solid Notre Dame work. What is your take on anything?
John, can I stop you?
Yeah.
Can I stop you? When you mentioned earlier about, Jack could go to the media and give his side of the story, and you gave some trusted journalists.
Yeah.
You didn't mention my name, John. And I was like, kind of stings a little bit. But it's okay.
Come on, Eric Hansen's a longtime guy that's different than what me and you do. You know that.
No, different. Well, no. I know that. Eric's one of the best. But you just said one of the trusted media guys, and I'm just saying what John thinks. Didn't mention this anonymous caller's name.
You're exposed. Look at the chat. You are super exposed. The trick is. The trick is over.
I got the most recognized. I got the second most recognizable voice in Notre Dame media, right? I mean, of course behind John, but
yeah, everybody right when you answered. I know who this is. Mike, singer.
What? No way.
Yeah, look at the chat. Right away, everybody's in the chat saying it's Mike is the man. It is Singer. Singer is the coolest dude.
Listen, John, listen, dude. I don't watch or listen to other Notre Dame outlets, except for you.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's good or bad. I don't know whether that's good or bad, Mike.
You are. It's both, and that's the point. That's why I love you, dude. The total authenticity, man. And since I am calling as an anonymous person, listen, Notre Dame fans, I get these tweets where people are just like, clickbait. We need to talk about this, because you just had this, someone tell you clickbait, John. We need to talk about this word clickbait, John.
Okay.
Because I just had a story the other day about, I think it was just yesterday, about CJ Carr and his Texas A&M visit this weekend, right?
Yeah.
And I said, hey, tweeted it out. CJ Carr is visiting Texas A&M. Here's more information. People are like, clickbait. Well, yeah, no shit. We want you to click on our story.
Yeah. It's kind of the idea. It's kind of the whole point of all of this that we all do.
Yeah, kind of the whole idea. Oh, you're fishing for clicks.
Yeah.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, exactly.
I want you to watch my videos and click on my article.
Yeah.
paid off of these things and
Yep.
subscriptions. I got to put things behind a paywall,
Yep.
just like most websites out there that are worth a damn. Like,
Yeah.
so that's part of it. Two is what clickbait really means. Clickbait is if I put an article saying Joe Schmo reveals commitment, and the article has nothing about him revealing a commitment. That's clickbait. I baited you in to click on this and gave you absolutely no information and did not give you what I promised.
Yeah.
Now, that's clickbait. If I promise you recruiting notes on CJ Carr, and not only did I give you the context, but also told you about more visits he's taking with his 7-on-7 team, shit, that ain't clickbait. I'm giving you scoop.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
rant over on
But
that.
I don't
All right, John,
think,
I got
but
a
I
question
don't
for
think,
you.
I
Okay,
don't,
no, you go ahead.
but I don't think that if you're not doing this, I don't think people see it the way we do when it's like how you live is dependent on people clicking on the title of your article or your video, you know?
Look,
Mike,
John, I started in this business a decade ago. My headlines back then used to be 3-star offensive lineman talks Notre Dame. I don't put that anymore because people don't care about it. Media has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, clicking on stuff obviously is important. We want you to read our content. Kind of the point.
Yeah. And I have had people, Mike, when I have a cover, you know, your YouTube cover, you come up for you have the title and then the screenshot, you know, whatever you want to call it, the whatever. I have had people,
important thing.
I have had people just not even click on the video and then rail on something that's just in the image of the picture on YouTube and rail on it and comment, you're way off, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, did you even watch the video? And they're like, no, I don't need to. I saw her, wrote a few articles, and I wasn't even there a week. And I had to have a meeting with the bosses because a bunch of people said, how could you hire this guy? Look at how wild he is. Sent a compilation clip of me freaking out over the years, a 48-minute compilation clip. People were emailing USA Today saying, how can you hire this guy? Look at how crazy he is. And I had to answer for it. And I said, you guys wouldn't want me to work for you and write for you if I didn't act like this. It's the only reason you're interested in me is because I draw that. Whether it's for me or against me, I draw that. And I said, I apologize for nothing. So if you guys don't want the heat that comes with me, that's your choice, but I'm not going to change.
What else? What else you want to talk about? I got nothing to add to that. Completely agree.
Good.
Do you have anything you want to ask me, John?
I want to ask you, am I over worrying about the Freeman administration dynamic, or is that a legitimate concern behind the scenes?
So yeah, as I mentioned when I joined, I was waiting for an hour. Yeah, an hour for you to bring me on, little old me. When you say you're concerned that the administration doesn't have Freeman's back, what does that mean? Like, what do you practically, what does that practically mean?
Practically to me, that means Freeman ended up in a situation exposed publicly, thinking he had clearance to go one way and then realizing later he didn't. And that's a look that
someone screwed up.
That's a look that
someone screwed up. I don't think that has anything to do with the backing of the administration, John. Someone just screwed up.
Yeah. I mean, and like, here's the biggest example of that. Nobody could tell me you're not like, you want to talk about clickbait? Let's talk about real life clickbait. How about bringing the guy on a date in public at the hockey game where you know all the cameras are on you and all the pictures are being taken? To me, that is a public date. You want everybody to see it. You know the media that's going to generate. And I think that it should have been discussed whether you could do this or not to fruition before you go on a public date with that guy. I think that's perfectly reasonable PR management, that if you don't know for sure you could hire this guy, you do not parade him around in public in that way. You don't. You got to know you got to know what that's going to cause.
when Alabama sent up a plane with a big A to the South Bend airport, right? That's their way of saying, this is our guy. Notre Dame bringing Andy Ludwig to the hockey game, which, John, has that ever happened? Like, just in this era of social media, and, you know, I know it ended up on broadcast TV, but still anyone could have seen those guys together. That just doesn't happen. So that was Notre Dame's way of saying, this is our guy publicly. And it was very, very public.
Yep.
And
I'm
guys sitting together. But I think this goes to my point that they just screwed up. They just screwed up.
Yeah.
And I don't think them dropping the ball says anything about a lack of financial backing. I was told early in the process that Notre Dame was aware of this buyout and that they were willing to pay it.
Yeah.
Now, I think Notre Dame's message, you know, in the press conference, is that truthful? I don't know what else he would have expected Freeman to say.
Yeah.
Not to throw his boss under the bus.
Yep.
I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
That Ludwig didn't want to go, but also, you know, Notre Dame, maybe wasn't fired up about the buyout. Like, it's somewhere in the middle, John. You said earlier, we'll never truly know. I don't know. Maybe more reports on it will come out with more sources or whatever down the road. Hopefully from me, I don't know. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just think it was a royal screw up.
Yeah.
And I don't think you look at that as saying Notre Dame's not backing Freeman. At least nothing's different from how they backed Freeman to like any other coach. Like, they're not backing them not as much as they did Kelly, I guess is my point.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's more.
Yeah.
So
well, it's
I'm hoping I'm calming you a little bit.
It's a matter of neither of us or any of us were in the room. So I don't know exactly how far it goes as far as like what got messed up. And there's different
here's
rumors.
What we do know, John.
There's different rumors
John,
and all that, but
here's what we do know. They brought him to the hockey game. They thought they were getting him.
yeah, well,
That's what we
okay.
know. Actions speak
And
louder
I
than
just
words.
don't, here's
Their
the,
actions, they took
Mike,
him to the hockey game.
Mike,
They thought they were getting him.
here's the problem, Mike. Recently, Notre Dame is so polished with messaging on everything. There was COVID. There have been awkward social things going on that Notre Dame had to make decisions on. And the messaging and everything with that is so controlled and so specific and so well done. It just bothers me that when it comes to football, we dropped the ball on this one, and then we're taking all this heat for it. It just rubs me the wrong way. Where is the tact with this that you have for everything else that goes on with Notre Dame PR? It bothers me that you drop the ball when it comes to football. Get it together.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think they dropped the ball. I don't think it has anything to do with backing. From like, if you want to talk about backing, you know, Notre Dame has this, you know, they've got a lot of money in the bank. They need to back their football team. That's a discussion, but I don't think you point to the Ludwig thing, that situation, and say they're not backing Freeman because of that. That's at least how I see it.
Yeah, and here's what I backed off on a little bit is there's conflicting information on the exact backstory. So then I ended up backtracking a little to the point where I'll just say mistakes were made. Like, mistakes were made. I don't know exactly where and by who, depending on what story you want to listen to. Mistakes were made, and I just don't like that. And there's no doubt about this, man. I was on board with Freeman when a month in as DC at Notre Dame. I was getting text messages saying, John, this guy's blowing up the recruiting office and they can't even handle his paperwork. And he's been here 3 weeks and he's pushing through all this recruiting paperwork. Right then I said, maybe this should be the coach then, because he's actually working hard recruiting. And I appreciate that. Like, this is my guy. I just want him to be supported. And I felt like he got hung out to dry and looked like a clown at the hockey game. Even if it was on accident, I just feel bad that he ended up exposed.
I liked his response to it in this press conference.
Beautiful.
Where he said,
it was beautiful.
Hey, this is like a recruiting trip. I liked it.
Yeah, but there's a
how
big
he turned
difference.
it.
You know, there's a big difference.
Full of crap.
You know, there's a big difference.
I think there's also full crap.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's totally different.
It's way
Recruits
different.
at the hockey game versus the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
It's way different. I think it's a bunch of crap, but I liked it. Still.
Yep. Because it's what he had to do. I actually gained more respect for. I've had people say, well, John, if you're saying that wasn't really all 100% and he was twisting it, don't you lose respect for him? No, it's actually the opposite. I gained respect because if he took a personal slight and then got up there and covered for the whole thing to move us all forward in a healthier way, I gained respect for Marcus, didn't lose any.
I agree. I liked Parker too.
Parker was so good up there.
Accent.
Parker knew all this. These guys don't live in a vacuum. They were very well aware of all this. And then Parker went up there and absolutely nailed it. And he deserves full support. He nailed it. I hope he does great.
I thought he did really well. I liked the question about, his time at West Virginia. Were you calling plays or were you not? I think he did a good job of respecting the people there while also defending himself in not a defensive manner.
Yeah.
I think he did a really good job because a lot of people, he was the offense coordinator for a couple of years, but didn't really call plays. It seemed like it was a shit show there, and he kind of just took his marching orders and called his red zone plays, and they did really well in the red zone at WVU those couple of years or whatever the exact situation was. I got sources calling him a war daddy on the recruiting trail.
Hey, Mike, look at this.
Means, but it sounds good.
Look at this. Look at the comment on the screen. Singer has a soothing voice. You ever consider getting into R&B or doing anything like that? Because your voice is compared to me, your voice is soothing people out. Yeah.
I'm already in R&B. Ask your wife. She knows about me.
Can I ask you? Can we transition to actual football? Can I ask you a couple football questions?
No, I really want to talk about. No, yes, of course.
All right. Here's my thought. Number one is, despite all of my existential Notre Dame worries, I still feel like the Notre Dame offense is probably going to be way better than what we're used to, definitely better than last year. And the arrow on that side of the ball, to me, is pointing up pretty straight. However, I'm worried about some of the defense. Am I off base, or are those accurate descriptions?
You said you're worried about what, John?
I'm worried about the defense a little bit.
So I think I've said this before on my show, so I think it's fair to say going into last season, some sources I talked to felt that the 2022 defense was going to be really good and the offense maybe not so much, but then it would flip the next year because there's the expectation that there's going to be a lot of players on the defense going to the draft and or transfer out, whatever it may be. But they feel a lot better about the defense and the amount of players who came back. So I think that's pretty good. The defense, for once, it's not going to be as good as the offense. At least since I've been covering Notre Dame. I think this is going on my fourth or fifth season. Like the offense looks to have it's going to be explosive and exciting. The defense, I know Mike Goolsby is not super fired up about the linebackers. I love the Mike Goolsby show with him and Mike Singer. I think Singer's a sexy mofo and does a fantastic job.
Oh, wow.
And Goolsby's okay.
Yeah, good to know. Good to know. Very unbiased source. Very unbiased description, too.
Very, very unbiased source. No clickbait there. I think the linebackers will be okay. Defensive line, I think I've got reservations about the front seven. Want to learn more about those guys in the spring and whatnot. But the secondary looks pretty good.
Mike.
The secondary looks pretty good. People are really excited about Thomas Harper.
Do you know how bizarre it is in my Notre Dame brain to enter this thinking man, when I think about the unit I feel best about in the Notre Dame defense, it's the secondary. You got to realize for 25 years, I've never said that ever. And now I think it and feel it. And now I'm worried about the front seven because we're light up front. And the only time Maris gets home is if his hair blows around. I can't handle it. I can't handle it.
I accidentally called you Darren for a second because I'm usually used to going on his show. John, the three positions, again, since I started covering Notre Dame, the three positions of concern have been quarterback, receiver, and corner.
Yep.
Sam Hartman.
Yep.
Ben Morrison.
Yep.
And then the receivers also look pretty good. You got Caleb Smith from Virginia Tech. I think Jaden Greathouse is going to be a contributor from day one. My Notre Dame people absolutely love him. I think that junior class, I think they're juniors now, right? Styles has been a little bit of a disappointment, but Deion Colsey and Jaden Thomas are coming along. I think there's a lot of excitement with the receivers. Not the best unit, but it wasn't a weakness this past season like it's been before. So you look at those three spots, looking pretty darn good. And the running backs, group is fantastic.
Yeah.
Bill Alt, I don't know. That Singer guy really likes Joe Alt. He kind of hit the nail on the head with that one. He's not right off it, but he was on that one.
Yeah, we're going to give him credit on that.
Really
Everybody go subscribe.
It's an exciting offense. The defense, still got some, I haven't been super fired up about the linebackers in recent years, but, we'll see on the defensive line. And, the secondary, if that secondary is as good as we hope it is, that helps out the front seven get home. They get more time to get home.
Yeah. And you know what else too? You know what makes me so happy? The best part about all this is for all the Kelly years I complained about special teams. I absolutely love what Notre Dame has going on now. That unit is a plus unit and it warms my Irish soul because I always said Notre Dame, there's no reason special teams shouldn't be a plus unit. I'm happy about that one. I'm just worried about everything else.
Well, you might be worried about it again if Brian Mason leaves for the Colts. So
don't like that.
On.
Don't like that. That would be very bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too fired up about that one. The football scoop report came out. Stuckey, O'Leary, and Mason getting looks from the NFL. Not a surprise. Maybe a little bit by O'Leary. He's still pretty new to coaching and young guy. Didn't have a ton of experience before getting the Notre Dame job, but Stuckey's a superstar. Love that hire for Notre Dame last year. Even though Fighting Irish fans are really ticked off about it and they wanted Jameer Shepard, Stuckey was a good hire. Credit to Reese. I'm not a big Reese guy, but I was told that Reese was a big part of hiring him. And then, Mason's obviously a rock star. So, it'll be interesting to see. Clearly, Freeman's done a pretty good job hiring some of these coaches. They're coveted by other programs. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of, what do you want the guy to do? Like, if they're good and people want them, that's not really a negative. It's frustrating, but it's not a negative,
John, coaches have a short shelf life. If you're an assistant coach, it's a year to 3 years usually. You're Mike Elsons of the world. That's not common. And someone like Jeff Quinn was with Brian Kelly for 30 years. That's not common. These coaches move around. They want bigger and better jobs, and a lot of them, I think, are going to the NFL because college football recruiting sucks.
Yep. And it's harder than ever.
Worse than ever.
It's harder than ever. It's
NIL. They're bigger divas than ever. With all due respect to the kids, love them. Right? They give me a career, but there's a lot of more divas than there used to be.
Yep.
It's just a whole different world.
Yeah, and the old phrase of you go to the NFL and they kind of do the shopping and then you cook with the ingredients. There's something to that. It is harder than ever. There is no off season. You're in the actual season, or you're recruiting, or you're trying to keep your guys from going somewhere else. And you got to worry about NIL. It is nonstop. And I don't blame some of these guys for being the NFL is just less of a grind in a way. I don't blame anybody for thinking that. It's accurate.
And I think there's more money, so there's that as well.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I just my number one worry with Notre Dame overall underneath is if Freeman felt like he's not getting full support. That's my number one concern. I think Parker's going to be fine. I just would feel better knowing this was some little miscommunication that got blown up and it's not a big deal, but I have my worries.
John, you need to teach me how to do call-in shows, man. I want to do these. These will sound fun.
It is fun, but you're the competition. So why am I going to tell you how to do it? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
I mean, I'm kind of serious, but I'm kind of kidding.
Competition.
No
competition in all love, John.
Well,
I will support you.
You need to know.
Always.
Here's something you need to know. You need to know that the next thing I'm trying to do, and this has been talked about for a while, Goolsby and I grew up a half hour apart. Our high schools were rivals. He's a Joliet Catholic guy. Like, we have a lot of overlap. I want to get him on and wind him up because I see him on your program. I want to wind that guy up. I want to get him going, Mike.
It's fun to get him going.
I know.
You guys would have a ball.
I know. And it's great because you know what you're going to get from me. And I know from watching your program what I could do to get him all wound up. So I'm trying to do it because I want to get him all worked up.
Get him talking about Kelly and Drew Pine.
I'm telling you, I've watched what he says and I know his buttons. I'm going to press him and I want to get him going.
All right, you take Goolsby from me for a show. You teach me how to do the call-ins. We'll call it even. How about that?
That's a good deal. It's not that hard. There's just a couple little technical things you got to figure out, but it's really not that bad. I am awful with tech.
I mean, if you figured it out, I can.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Mike, I'm bad with tech. Like, I'm a content guy. I'm not a tech guy. The hardest part of all the YouTube stuff I'm done is making all the tech work perfect. But I got this call-in thing working. I could show you how to do it.
That sounds great. Anything else you need from me, John?
Any
other topics?
I don't think so. I just appreciate you calling. Thank you.
I appreciate you taking my call after an hour, John.
No problem. Give me a break, man. I'm doing the best I can. I've been on vacation 2 weeks. I had a lot to get off my mind and get going here. Give me a break.
So, wait, you recognized my area code and just knew it was me?
Well, it tells me who it is. It tells me the area code, and then it has a last name. Yeah, I have the system. I have the software. It gives me the area code and then the name.
My privacy just feels attacked.
So, so I just saw that.
I'm teasing, John. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking my call. It's good talking with you.
I appreciate you calling. Hey, anytime you want me to come on your show and yell about stuff, let me know. You know I'm happy to do it.
All right. I'll have you on a Wednesday show one of these weeks. That sounds fun.
I would love to do it. Perfect. Let me know.
All right. Thanks, John. Take care, man.
Have a good weekend. See ya. Oh, I wasn't expecting that call from an old Notre Dame media guy. 517. I'm sorry I made you wait. That's my bad. Do I still got you, 517?
517.
Beautiful. You're on the air. I'm sorry I made you wait. Thank you for the super chat. What's on your mind?
Holy shit.
I know.
No.
I know.
I'm just so sad that I have to follow up Singer on this whole thing. Shout out to the Goolsby show.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Goolsby show.
I'm telling you, he gets so wound up. I love everything about it. Getting Goolsby going. I can't wait to have him on. It's going to be great.
Yeah, man, that was just beautiful. Everything about that last 20, 30 minutes was beautiful. Because, why would he call into your show? Obviously, you're making some noise, John.
I appreciate that. I do. But you know what? Me and him go back. He's been on my show a couple times, going back a year or two. But for him to sit there and listen and then call in, I really appreciate it. So, really good guy. What's on your mind, my friend?
Well, let's put the coaching crap aside.
Okay.
The hire of Ludwig, or the hire of Ludwig, but the hire of the offensive line coach. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Everything seems like, in my opinion,
if I'm Marcus Freeman, I'm happy with where I'm at right now, personally, because he got his guy, he got his quarterback coach who could focus on the quarterbacks. He got his offensive coordinator who can focus on the tight ends, which were basically a tight ends factory, if you want to be honest about it.
Yeah.
So I like where we are.
But wait
I
a
like
second.
where we are.
Okay, but wait a second. But you don't think that, I mean, as a secondary solution, or are you telling me that you think Parker was number one when the guy was out on a public date flirting with Ludwig at the hockey game in front of all the cameras? How happy could the guy be that they didn't get his number one choice?
Who else was there with John? Who else was there with Ludwig?
Well, of course he was there, but he was already on the staff. That's a whole different discussion. No media was putting, look at the tight end coach that's at the hockey game. You got to know that's a big difference in image between a guy that's already on the staff being on campus and Ludwig. It's a big difference.
Hey, man, I'm just spitballing here. Why do you think he was there?
Because if you're bringing in a new offensive coordinator, you'd want him to get to know the tight end coach because Notre Dame has an extensive tight end lineage. That's why.
That's why? Are you sure? Hey, I'm a first-time caller since BK quit. So, like, I have a lot of, like, very pent-up anger by BK. And then at the same time, I just don't understand why the hell our tight ends coach was at the same game Ludwig is at the same time. It just blows my mind. What do you think?
It makes sense because you're trying to entice the guy to come, and your tight end lineage is so good. So you have that guy there so they can all get on the same page, start talking about how good the offense is going to be. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it was a dual interview.
I don't see it that way at all.
Right.
There's not. I don't.
I know.
I
know. Nobody will feel that way. I'm just like, let me just spitball here.
Sure.
So, like, Ludwig. Let's look at his rap sheet. If you look at his rap sheet, assistant. So, like, why would he have the tight ends? Why wouldn't he have Dylan McCullough there? Why wouldn't he have anybody else there? I don't know. Why Gerard Parker?
Maybe the guy,
people.
Maybe Freeman said, who's available this night to help me court this guy? We want to run the offense. And that guy was available. Like, it could be that simple. It could be that simple. But there's no way anybody's going to tell me that was a dual interview courtship. No. Parker was the answer after the A1 choice didn't work out. That's all it is.
I'm just being devil's advocate. That's all.
Yeah, it just bothers me that you publicly flaunted that guy out there like that and it didn't work out. I just hate it. I hate how it feels.
I get it.
I hate how it feels.
I know.
I do.
I know. We're never going to know the backstory of it.
Yep. You're right.
I don't know. But anyway, let's get down to brass tacks. The way we need to move forward. That's all we need to do is move forward.
Yep.
Interior defensive line.
Yep.
Wide receivers.
Concern. In defensive line. Yeah. All right.
Interior defensive line. Because I think Jordan Botelho is going to be a freaking problem.
Yeah.
He's going to be a freaking problem.
Yeah. And
I can guarantee you. But we got Onier. You got Rubio. You got who else? Tyson Ford. Somebody needs to step up in the interior, man. You got Howard Cross, who's like a little bit undersized, however, like very athletic, very good at his job. But if you can have somebody like Riley Mills, Jason Onier, Gabriel Rubio step up, then you got a nice interior defensive line to go with the exterior defensive line, which Jordan Botelho, I don't want to say I guarantee, but like, it's 10 sacks is my prediction for that guy. The guy is freaking, he's an animal. All right. He's an absolute animal, and he's going to be let out of the cage next year. I swear to you. I am positive of this because of watching the bowl game. He finally got to actually have the snaps that he needed. and he is there, dude. He is going to be there. He is going to wreak havoc. I can guarantee you that. And I don't know why he hasn't gotten the snaps so far, but it just blows my mind because the guy is so athletic. He's so strong. He's wound up like a freaking coil. Oh my gosh, he's gonna be great. However,
let me ask you
the
this.
interior part,
Let me ask you two things. I want to ask you two things as we enter this year. I want to know what you're most confident in the Notre Dame squad, and I want to know what you're most concerned in. Give me a breakdown.
confident in. Obviously, dude. Come on. Running backs. You got three-headed monster. Let's keep all three in the locker room. So, let's make sure we have a package for Chris Tyree. Let's make sure we can incorporate all three running backs at the same time. Let's get some 21 personnel in there. 2 running backs, 1 tight end. Let's make sure that Mitchell Evans is progressing because you and I both know that he has all the tools to be good. I'm not going to say he's going to be great, but he has all the tools to be good. You got what's his nuts? Eli Raritan. What's the other guy that's faster? Gosh, John, come on. What's the other guy that's faster?
Wait, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about tight ends right now.
What's his name?
Eli
Not
Raritan,
the ACL guy.
Evans,
Is it Evans?
No, not
Are
Evans.
you talking about Holden Stace?
Not Raritan.
Holden Stace?
Holden Stace.
Yeah.
Holden Stace is gonna be like a different version of
Mayor.
Tommy Tremble.
Oh yeah, Tremble. Yeah, that's a good comp too. I'm
Like
not
a different
worried.
version of
Listen,
him. Like maybe he's not gonna be as nasty. Maybe he's not gonna be like the fullback type, but
Yeah.
he's gonna be just as fast and just as quick. You know.
yeah.
Then you got Raritan. As long as he's healthy, he's gonna turn into a problem. Then you got Mitchell Evans, who has all the size and all the ability to be a problem. So let's go. The running backs, 1, 2, 3. You got Esme, Diggs.
It
Tyree.
might even be 1, 2, 3, 4,
That is
5.
that is
I
the-
might feel good 4 or 5 deep there if you get Price back healthy and then you bring in what we have in the recruiting class. That might be the deepest position group on the whole squad.
Yeah, I hear you, dude. And I just don't know. Shout out to Jadarian Price. You know, I want him to be healthy because I watched him in the spring game.
Me too.
Last year.
I was so
I
excited.
watched how dynamic he was.
I was so excited. See,
He
it
was-
stood out.
Yeah,
It stood out. It
Yeah.
flashed.
I know.
Like when you watch enough football, Notre Dame football, and then you see a young guy, it flashed. Like you knew right away, this is different, and I like what I'm seeing. It's just unfortunate what happened. But if it was going to happen, at least we also feel like there's depth there that we like with the other 3 guys.
Yeah, I agree. So you got the strongest group, running back.
Yep, agree.
Weakest group. What
do you-
is the weakest group?
I don't
I
feel.
already mentioned that earlier. It was the interior defensive line to me.
I would agree.
You've got to be able to line up with these guys
I would agree.
that are these hosses in the SEC that are like 320, 330 guards,
Yeah.
300, 310 centers. You got to be able to make some noise in the middle because that's the only way you're going to stop the run. If you stop the run, you make them one-dimensional.
Yeah.
You make them one-dimensional, then you have an upper hand.
Yeah, that's my number one concern. If you ask me what my number one concern right now is for next year, it'd be having the bulk up front to stand up tall when you need to next year in the middle on defense. Linebackers are weird. I thought it was going to be a plus group last year, and I ended up disappointed. And it just drove me nuts. I expect more out of that group. Get home, wrap up, hit your blitzes. I need more. So that's another concern. And I feel really good about secondary, which makes me feel weird because it's been 25 years since I could say it.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's just what are we going to think about the safeties, right? We got Cam Hart, we got Benjamin Morrison, We got Mickey, Jaden Mickey. What about the safeties? That's all I'm worried about with the secondary. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We got Xavier Watts, who's like kind of raw still, but a very athletic person. Is he going to catch on to the point where he's like a playmaker? I don't know. We'll never know. We won't know until like August, September. We won't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me ask
who else
this.
is the safety at that point besides Xavier Watts?
Yeah. And even then, it's like, didn't he start as a receiver too? It's like, okay, you're safety, but are you really, you know?
Dude, I'm not worried about the receiver group. I'm not. Because you got Jaden Thomas.
Yeah.
You got Tobias Merriweather. You got somebody that, you know, the Yips. You ever heard of the Yips?
Well, yeah, I'm a golfer, so I've had him 50 times. I've had him 50 times.
Out of the Yips. If Lorenzo Styles gets out of the Yips, he's a problem for everybody.
Yeah, you are right.
Tobias Merriweather is a problem, like already, and he just wasn't. Maybe he didn't know the playbook well enough. Maybe he just wasn't giving enough chances. Who knows? I'm not there. However, I just know, just by watching him in games, he is definitely good enough to be a problem, just like Lorenzo Styles.
Yeah.
And then you got like a Jaden Thomas, who's just like a hybrid tight end, like Debo Samuel kind of guy.
Let me ask you
can
this.
use him
Let me ask
anywhere.
you this. Let me ask you this. You're looking at the schedule next year. What do you expect? Give me a win-loss record. It's a tough schedule. You got three, maybe top 5, top 10 teams there. What do you think next year? Give me a number.
Yeah, me and my coworkers talk about this all the time because they all know that I'm a big Notre Dame fan. And I was just like, hey, what's the over/under? I said the over/under is 9.5.
God, man, you
That's
can't go with the half.
common.
There's a big difference between 10-2 and 9-3. Because if you go 9-3, what does that mean? Does that mean you're losing to the big three, or does that mean that you're beating a couple of them and losing a dumb game? What are you going to do?
All right. Well, John, who did we lose to last year?
Two bad teams.
For no reason.
Two bad teams.
For no reason.
Two bad teams.
I was at the Stanford game. For no reason, we lost to that team. It was awful. I brought my son to there. I brought my son there for his birthday. You know how sad that was?
Very.
Anyway.
Very sad.
That's besides the point. The point is, like, Jack Swarbert hired Marcus Freeman for upside. So we saw the downside at what were we, 8-4? Something like that. 9-4, counting the bowl game.
Yeah, 4 losses.
Do you really think that Marcus Freeman is ready to carry?
I think it would have been ideal.
11-1.
I think it would have.
No.
I think it would have.
I don't think he is.
I think it would have been ideal for Freeman to have another year or two under Kelly in an ideal, perfect scenario. To have another year or two under Kelly, then Kelly moves on and Freeman's further established and integrated at Notre Dame. I think that would have been the most ideal path, but it just didn't happen that way. And if I had a choice, because of my belief in Marcus Freeman, I'd rather be early on him than late on him and miss out. So that's how I look at that dynamic.
Yeah, I hear you. And that's another reason why I just feel like these hires, like the OC hire or the you missed on that one offensive line coach from Georgia. I feel like Marcus Freeman is an alpha. He's going to find a way to make sure it's successful.
I hope you're right.
He is that guy.
Yeah.
And it's going to take us some time to do it. However, so we have a transfer quarterback. Is he going to translate? I'm one of the biggest Sam Hartman fans there is. I was advocating for it a month or two before it even was a thing on the boards and stuff like that. And You know, who knows if he's going to be like a guy?
I think,
but I know for a fact that he makes some serious noise when he was playing for Wake Forest. He made some serious noise, but like he's riding the running back all the way up to the line, and then he's throwing to whoever, and it just didn't look like a real offense. Is he going to be that guy in a real offense? I don't know, but I have faith, basically because of his beard.
yeah, there you go. Is that it?
Just because of his beard. That's the only reason.
I'm telling you, I don't
like a
know, but
man.
I think the arrow's pointing up. I feel like the offense is definitely going to be better. I have concerns about the defense. And if we maintain our special teams coach, they're going to be a grade A unit. Anything else you want to wrap up on? What's your final parting shot?
I don't have a shot at you, Joe. I love you, buddy.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. Have a good weekend. Thank you for calling. I'm sorry I made you wait.
You as well.
Take care, man.
It's all good, man.
Have a good one.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. Telling you, you guys are freaking brutal, man. Not everybody has to be a circus clown when they're doing all this. You guys are rough, bro. You guys are rough. All right, here's the deal. Pat, you're getting jumped by Andrew Gilmore because he donated money. All right. And Pat, I know I owe you money because you paid for half the alcohol I've ever consumed in my entire life. But I'm giving Andrew Gilmore the next call. All right. And then we're going to do Pat and Adam, and that might be it. So 30-second break. Talk amongst yourselves. You guys are jerks being mean to the people calling. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in 1 minute. And we'll wrap this up with a few more good calls. You guys are out of control tonight. What's going on tonight? Jeez, you guys. Give me about 1 minute. We'll be back. Relax for a minute. Everybody take a drink and chill out. Jeez. Oh, tough crowd. Tough crowd tonight. You guys are brutal. 224, give me some more. You're on the air.
Hey, so it's funny you said tough crowd because I feel like the callers have been pretty nice to you, John, but I think I'm going to have to come at you right now.
It's not the callers, it's the chat. These people are Nick's right in the chat, but the chat, man, people are tough. I'm telling you, people are tough here. But what are you going to correct me on? Go for it.
Well, I'm going to have to come at you on that. The lamest thing I think I've ever heard is that he did a great job in the press conference. And the reason why I say that is probably the best press conference I've seen in the last 20 years was Charlie Weiss's first press conference, where he tried to pretend like he was Bill Parcells and it got everybody fired up. And we all know how that turned out. So who gives a crap about Jared Parker's press conference? We have no idea how good of an offense coordinator he was. He has 1 year of offensive coordinator experience, and he failed. He was fired by, like, you can make up all the excuses you want, but he was fired by West Virginia, which, come on, it was a Big 12 team. Like, why can't you spin the ball a little bit? They scored, 25 points a game under his tutelage. It's like, why are we supposed to be okay with Jared Parker taking over as the offensive coordinator for Notre Dame? How ridiculous. I mean, come on. I mean,
all right, but wait, though.
Please,
first,
yeah.
Number one is your phone line is crystal clear, and I appreciate that. It's beautiful. So that's number one. I love that. Also, thank you for the chat. I love that too. The super chat, love that too. But we're talking about different things. Like, once the decision was made that it was going to be Parker, then the best thing you could do is give a really good introductory press conference. That's a separate issue than an issue of should he be the hire. Those are different things. That was all water under the bridge. And then the best thing him and Freeman could do is polish up this PR log turd and make it as good as it could be. And they did a good job of it.
Honestly, John, though, you know what would polish up the turd of a conference is if he went out and signed like a 5-star recruit. Who gives a crap about conferences? The worst press conference in the country right now is Nick Saban. Go listen to a Nick Saban press conference. It's the worst, but that guy is a 6-time champ, goes out and signs whoever he wants. So, like, press conferences literally mean nothing. Like, they don't mean anything. So I take nothing. The only thing that I take from this is that Marcus Freeman was denied the guy he wanted. So then he said, okay, all right, I get denied the guy I wanted. So I'm going to take the guy I know. So if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down swinging. So I'm going to take the dude who I used to coach with or something.
Yeah.
But don't sell me on the fact that this guy knows how to call plays. We don't know that for anything. In fact, he played in the Big 12, which is like you throw for 300 yards like it's nobody's business. And they didn't throw for 300 yards like nobody's business when he was in charge. He could try to blame it on the head coach, but he was, in writing, the offensive coordinator. So I am not convinced on this guy. Maybe he'll prove us wrong, and he's Marcus Freeman's bud. But I think that that's like, you know what? It's not show friends, it's show business. And so I think that could be a big mistake because we both know, and especially I'm more of a Brian Kelly fan than you are, but we both know what happened when Brian Kelly tried to bring his pals in to be coordinators of a legitimate university like Notre Dame. It did not turn out well. See Brian Van Gorder as an example of that. So it's like, you know what, is this the real deal or not? We do not know. And then the second thing is people are dismissing the fact that CJ Carr is taking a non-official visit to Texas A&M. And you know what? First of all, I was never sold on CJ Carr just because Jim Harbaugh went through the motions and didn't even really want him. He really wanted the kid from North Carolina. But whatever, he's our guy. You got to go all in on CJ Carr. And all of a sudden, dude is like going around in 7-on-7 competitions. He's going to different colleges. And
now wait a second. Like, isn't that the argument though? He has not shouted his support for Jared Parker yet.
He has not said it. I have not seen any article that says, hey, Jared Parker's my boy. I like him. He's my guy. He has not said that yet. So that recruiting situation is very much in flux. And I think any Notre Dame fan who wants to pretend that it's not, then just pretend yourself, because I promise you, if he liked Jared Parker, if Jared Parker was part of his recruitment, he'd say, hey, you know what? I don't care that Reese is gone. First week, he would say something, but I promise you, he's a fucking 18-year-old kid. He's looking around a little bit. What do you think, John?
Now, when I reacted poorly on Twitter when I saw the news that he was going to be at A&M, I just responded, I don't like that. And then 20 Notre Dame people said, you're an idiot. You know, what? You don't know nothing. He's just there on a 7-on-7 team, you know, throwing the ball around. You're an idiot. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. And then my response to that was, Jimbo's a slithering snake, and I don't want that guy anywhere near Notre Dame prospects because I don't trust him at all. And then people said, John, you're an idiot. This is how it goes. He's on a 7-on-7 thing. They move around, they go and they perform and whatever. There's nothing to see here. Everybody in the know has told me I'm dumb for not feeling comfortable with this. Am I wrong? Or are they all right? What's the deal?
No, I think you're right. In fact, because even if he didn't even think about going to Texas A&M and he's just there,
yeah,
they're literally paying guys $1 million to $2 million a year.
I know.
What if they just said, hey,
I know.
Yep. We just, you know what? I'm not even calling any plays anymore. I'm Jimbo. Like, I'm just this cool Southern dude with a big head. I just hired Bobby Petrino, who just put Lamar Jackson into the pros. He put numerous other quarterbacks into the pros. He's the real deal. You'll be here for 2.5 years. I'll develop you into a real deal. And here's $2 million per year. And like, you know, what's so funny is like, I hear Notre Dame, like message board guys go, oh, like he's not motivated by the money or whatever. And like, oh, his family's really successful and has money. It's like, can you imagine being 18 years old and they're offering you $2 million a year and they're desperate too. So it's like, you know what? I don't think that recruitment's done yet until he gets a voted confidence for Jared Parker. And each day he doesn't do that, it shows you that was the fucking wrong hire. Because I promise you that Ludwig, if they would have done the deal with Ludwig, he would have come out and said, hey, that's the right hire. Because you know why? Ludwig beat Utah. That was a beautiful game plan. Or beat USC.
Twice.
They beat USC.
Twice in 1 year. Plan. Twice in 1 year. 43 and 47 points. And they played physical and they beat them up and they played the game we should have played twice, not once. They played the game we should have played against them 2 times in 1 year. Pisses me off.
Exactly.
It pisses me off. They play a physical, tough brand of football against that team twice. And we couldn't get it once. And we handed that guy the Heisman. And I'm not going to let it go.
Exactly. You're the man, John. And I agree with you on that. You've been spot on. Like, and honestly, you know what pumped me up? I never would ever call on this show, but you know what pumped me up about things was like when Notre Dame lost to Marshall or like the beginning of last year, I called into your show and it's like all these people who were trying to make this fake argument between Tyler Buchner versus Sam Hartman, like, and maybe we're doing the wrong thing by getting Sam Hartman, should just channel yourself in September when we lost to fucking Marshall and just picture how you felt at that moment and just know that the fact that if Sam Hartman had the talent that Notre Dame has around them as opposed to Wake Forest, we would have maybe gutted out a win at the end, similar to when Jack Cohen took us down the field and beat, what was it, Central Michigan or whoever the heck we were playing for, Toledo. We beat Toledo. And like Jack Cohen just led us right down the field, won the game. Okay, tough game, we win. Instead, Buchner can't do that. He cannot. For how good of an athlete he is, he cannot just take you down the field. He has to trick you a little bit, and maybe run, and then he has to drop his shoulder so he might get hurt and stuff like that. So all these discussions about Buckner and stuff like that. It's like, you know what? If Buckner doesn't want to stay, if he doesn't want to stay and just be the backup this year, and then he's got 2 more years left, good riddance. If you can't throw the football, and I want dudes who can throw the football.
How dare you?
You know what?
How dare you ask for that?
You're doing us a favor, man. Bounce. See you later. Minchie, your time's up, man. Come on, pal. Get some real snaps in practice and let's throw the football, because I'm sick of dudes who are like can't even throw a 5-yard out route, dude. Let's go.
This is Notre Dame.
So
this is Notre Dame.
You know?
I've been saying forever, I don't understand how you could be the University of Notre Dame and not have like a top level quarterback. It just seems absurd to me that you could be the brand of Notre Dame with that gold helmet and we don't have a top 10 quarterback every year in every class. It just seems like it doesn't make sense to me. It's been a complaint for a long time.
And like, honestly, Mike, John, what did you feel when we lost to Marshall? Then do you remember how he got injured too, Buckner? He threw a pick 6 and it was like the game was pretty much over at that point. Then we got the ball back, and instead of so he did a fake handoff, you know, like he's going to go run with it. He was not going to get the first down. Instead of just like getting down or going out of bounds, tries to lower his shoulder, destroys his shoulder over a stupid play, a meaningless play, and then he's out for the season. And like literally, thank God last year that we had a halfway adequate backup quarterback, and that's what he was. Drew Pine was a backup quarterback, and like he was halfway adequate. Like that season could have turned into a complete abomination of a season if Drew Pine wasn't like halfway adequate. And by the way, if it wasn't for the referees against Cal that let us have an offsides penalty when we didn't even deserve it, like last year could have been a ridiculous like Ty Willingham, Bob Davies, like horrible year, but we somehow snuck by and got 8-4, and we really went 8-4 because the ACC was like the worst conference in the Power 5. It's like, and then we're supposed to go with Buckner? Like, no fucking way. Like, we're going with Sam Hartman. He's the best quarterback on the market. Yeah. Good job by whoever recruited him to Notre Dame. We got him.
What if it's the guy scheming up Alabama's offense that was responsible? Thank you for leaving that for us.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I say thank you. Good job. Like, and now he's hooked. Like, he can't leave at this point. And so good job. So Jared Parker better be banking his life off of Sam Hartman. And we all need to better be supporting, like, any of this nonsense that we're talking about. Buckner is ridiculous. It's all a big distraction. Like, Sam Hartman is our guy. Like, we need to back him. And like, if we beat, like, if I'm Marcus Freeman, this is my last thought, and I'll let you get another caller because I know a lot of people took up time. But my last point is, if I'm Marcus Freeman, I'm a businessman. And I'm thinking that year 3 is a luxury, especially I'm a D coordinator and I get the job for the first time. I get Notre Dame. Like, I need to make big waves in year 2, especially I inherited a good team. I got to win 10, 11, 12 games this year. Who's going to get me to that? Sam Hartman, a very veteran quarterback, is going to get me to that. So I'm looking at the fact that if I can beat Ohio State, like, and you go 4-0 in September, I might even get an extension, like, to my contract before the end of the year because I just beat Ohio State. So you go all in on Sam Hartman, and we're game planning to how the heck do we beat Ohio State. That's why Ludwig would have been a great hire. That's why Joe Moorhead would have been a great hire. So there's like Jared Parker has his work cut out for him, because if you lose against Ohio State and you go 3-1, and then all of a sudden you get into the meat of the schedule, then you're in real trouble, pal, because Marcus Freeman ain't going to get an extension if he goes 8-4 again. And now all of a sudden he's a lame duck coach in year 3 and 4 and stuff like that. So year 2 is the new year 3 in college football, because college football is professional football now. This is no joke anymore. It's professional football now with all the money being thrown out. And I'll leave on this. My alma mater is Rutgers. they are the laughing stock of the Big Ten. They just bought Minnesota's offensive coordinator. They paid his buyout, and they're paying him $1.5 million. That might not seem not a lot because Tommy Reese got paid $2 million. But Rutgers.
Rutgers
bought out Minnesota's offensive coordinator and now bought his payout, and now they're paying him $1.5 million. So get with it, Notre Dame. This is professional football now. I don't give a fuck how much an offense coordinator needs to be bought out. If he's the right guy, you do it.
Yeah.
So
I'll if that's the guy, your young coach, you said you're going to support and put all the resources behind. If that's the guy he wants, I think that too. But that's not the way it went down for reasons, I don't know.
Yeah, because they're cheap. Swarbrick tried to I guarantee this is what happened. John. They knew about the buyout. They thought because they're Notre Dame and there's a bunch of Mormon dudes in Utah, like they thought they could just say, hey, how could you let this guy not coach for Notre Dame? He wants to leave. Come on. You know what?
Wait a second.
Maybe 5 years.
Wait a second.
Maybe 5 years from now, we'll give you a home game. Instead of $3 million, we'll give you $100,000 and maybe we'll play you guys in like 3 or 4 years from now. Come on. And Utah said, stuff it. No way. We're big time. We're not gonna do that.
I have heard.
So then he told Freeman, he's like, dude, these guys are a bunch of like jerks. They won't even negotiate with us. Go find the next guy. And then they got embarrassed. And then he tried to go back to Utah and say, hey, we'll pay the whatever $3 million or whatever to get the offensive coordinator and the lineman. And by that time it was too late.
Yeah.
They tried to bigwig Utah. And then
but there's no benefit in that. Listen, hold on. Utah.
One point, John.
Go ahead.
1 point, John. Heather Dinich has been the reporter for the college football playoff since the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
She's best friends with all the commissioners and Jack Swarbrick. Honestly, anytime like Notre Dame news breaks, she always breaks it. And so when everything was going down that was very negative, all of a sudden Heather Dinich came out and was like, oh, Notre Dame was going to be willing to pay the payout. And then she said it in a way that was like worded that was probably true, but did not worded like nobody was asking her exactly what she was meaning by it, which was what happened was Jack Swarbrick called her up and said, hey, we tried to do the buyout, but it was 3 days fucking late.
Yeah, the house was burned down. They called 911 when the house was burned down and everybody was dead.
For him.
Listen, man,
to prove that, by the way, the ACC commissioner just came out with a bunch of statements, and guess who broke that story? Heather Dinich, because she's friends with all the commissioners because she's been covering the college football playoff since the very beginning. So don't believe anything her direct source is Jack Swarbrick. So it's funny that Mike Singer called in because he's a great guy, but a lot of people on his site were taking Notre Dame's word by gospel because Heather Dinich said it. And it's like Heather Dinich's source is Jack Swarbrick. It's not that hard to like follow.
I gotta tell you, man. Yeah. I couldn't believe the amount of Notre Dame people that were just believing what was said at these press conferences. Have you ever heard a PR spin? Just because it's Notre Dame and Mary's on the dome doesn't mean that you don't go into damage fire PR control. Like, I'm not that naive and I ain't falling for it. I'm not falling for it. I got full support and all that. No, you don't. If you did, you wouldn't have been flirting with the guy at the hockey game, making sure all the cameras saw and all the tweets are going and all the articles are written. You don't do that. So, no, I just can't believe the amount of Notre Dame fans that are involved in these businesses. They're all business people and smart guys that are just taking the word at a press conference. That ain't how it works. That ain't how it works.
But John, all right, I keep saying I'm going to leave you on this, but it's not the first time where Notre Dame was so arrogant and then ended up with egg on their face. Like, how many, I'm not that old. I'm 38 years old. And
Yeah, me
Okay,
too.
so,
We're the exact same
after-
age. So we were both
after-
4
after-
and have no idea what it's like to win it all. And we've been miserable ever since. No wonder you and I ended up here on a Friday night. It makes perfect sense.
But like honestly, listen to this. Like they forced Lou Holtz out for Bob Davies. Ridiculous move. They fired Bob Davies, and then they try to hire George O'Leary, who had a fake resume, and they got completely embarrassed by the whole situation. Okay, then they go and hire Ty Willingham, who was not legitimately like he had a couple good years at Stanford.
You do
They
not.
hired him. It's just ridiculous.
You do not talk bad about Tyrone Willingham. You know why? Because in the time, no, you listen to me and listen good. In the time he was at Notre Dame, his short game on the golf course got a lot better. So you do not talk shit about that guy. He cut his handicap in half. Unbelievable.
Then they try to get Urban Meyer, and it does not happen. Embarrassing. Do you remember how long it took to hire Charlie Weiss? It literally took until the end of the Super Bowl to hire Charlie Weiss. Like it was so embarrassing how many coaches turned down their names. It's like crazy. Like the administration is very delusional at Notre Dame. They are very delusional. Like they don't learn from any of their mistakes. It's really crazy. Yeah. So I'll leave you on that.
Hey, I got to tell you, I appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good thoughts.
Thanks.
Call me again.
Thanks, buddy.
Later. Have a good one. $21.5, Lawrence. Get it right. 21.5. Pat, it's your time. Go.
You didn't send the link.
I'm not going to exit out of my entire show to send you an email. It ain't happening, okay?
You should have sent me the link to start, you jerk. I'm sitting here crushing Miller Lights with my Always Irish beer koozie.
What are you talking?
Some brandy on.
What do you mean? Listen.
I got my Always Irish that thing over your shoulder. Remember when you sent those out to get fans?
Yeah. Yeah, and I paid my own money to do it, and it was worth it because now they're my most loyal people. They're my most loyal people. I sent them all for free. The first year this kind of took off, I sent all those packets for free.
The last time I went to a football game where Brian Kelly was the head coach, which was probably when you were sending these out because I vowed off that mother effer. There's the tailgate next to me had these, and they're like, "Oh man, I love John so much. He's so great." And I was like, "Oh, you guys got to meet him in person. He's such a jagoff." Okay, little revisionist history. I want to correct some things. Notre Dame did not get rid of Lou Holtz to hire Bob Davie. It's not Davies. But and I'm not trying to be dick. The last caller was very good. I listened to him and I enjoyed him a lot. A lot of what he said made sense. But they did not get rid of Lou Holtz to hire Bob Davie. They got rid of Lou Holtz because of the Kim Dunbar situation. And Wadsworth and Monk Malloy were very upset about how that went down. And they thought they were going to get Gary Barnett from Northwestern. Okay. And Gary Barnett he said no to Notre Dame. Then he ends up going to Colorado and he fails there. And so the arrogance of Notre Dame's administration comes into play here because they thought they were going to get Gary Barnett. And then they end up having to settle. They end up having to settle on Bob Davie. And that's how that situation worked out. And then the George O'Leary situation, George O'Leary didn't have a fake resume. George O'Leary had one bullet point in his resume that misrepresented his playing career in college. So it wasn't like they had this fake resume. It's just he had one thing in his resume. And Notre Dame I think Notre Dame bent knee to that because the what turns into today's woke crowd wanted them to hire Tyrone Willingham because he was the black coach, and they ended up hiring George O'Leary. So there's a lot of pressure on Notre Dame to say, "Oh, look, you got a reason to get rid of him. Go hire Tyrone Willingham." Tyrone Willingham was a goddamn disaster, and I praise the Notre Dame administration on this one for firing that asshole after year 3 because, the last time I called in, I went in hard on this. He sucked. He's the worst coach in the history of college football. Stanford was like Notre Dame fans when Brian Kelly got let go. Thank you for taking this piece of shit off our hands. Okay, so that was Tyrone Willingham.
Charlie Weiss didn't get hired until after the Super Bowl because Charlie Weiss was coaching an offense. He was an offensive coordinator for the team in the Super Bowl. He was actually in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. So that's why he didn't get hired until after the Super Bowl. And so it wasn't they had to wait that long. He did get hired before the Super Bowl. He just wouldn't come on campus until after the Super Bowl because he was committed to the Patriots winning the Super Bowl. Because I remember there's a story about he was trying to recruit, doing both jobs at the same time, and some really good wide receiver said, I'll commit to Notre Dame if you come and visit me. He's like, I can't. I'm at the Super Bowl. I got to stay here. So he didn't go. But Charlie Weiss was hired before the Super Bowl, and it was just he didn't come to Notre Dame until after the Super Bowl was over because he was coaching in the Super Bowl. They did try to go after Urban Meyer. They thought they were going to get Urban Meyer, but Urban Meyer obviously took the Florida job. Okay, we cleared that up. All right. Let's talk about Jack Swabrick. Now, the show we did last night, we kind of get into this a little bit. And I like that. How do you really feel, Patrick? I really hate Tyrone Willingham. The greatest mistake Notre Dame has ever made in outside of hiring the high school football coach before Lou Holtz. So Swabrick. So here's the thing. Swabrick he's not my favorite person. I'm not a Swabrick guy.
Can you also not pronounce his last name right? Is that a part of it too? Are you doing that on purpose? You're bugging me with that. You did it last night too. It's Swabrick. Swabrick.
It's Swabrick.
No, it isn't. There's an R.
What is it?
Swabrick.
All right, jag off. Listen, I've got like 9 empty cans in front of me. So he's not my favorite person. So I don't want this to be a defense of him. But people got to understand what the changes that have happened at Notre Dame for this football program are him. Like, okay, outside of the drunk Vigos and the Newt Rockney, who are, I think, just trolls trying to Chicago accent back. Good one, Adam. Who are just trying to, they're Freeman is Freeman that. He's the guy that hired Freeman. Okay, he's the guy that hired Freeman. He's the guy that he did hire Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly was an improvement over Charlie Weiss. I didn't like Brian Kelly after year like 6 or 7. I was done with him after that. But he was an improvement, and so I'm not. He has done things, and like it or not, be a Notre Dame football fan or not, that guy has turned Notre Dame's athletic department as a whole. Like, you have to go back into Notre Dame's history and think of what was the guy that went to Duke.
I don't care about fencing. I don't care about fencing. I don't.
But
Pat,
fine, you don't have to.
Pat, I don't care about fencing. Fencing didn't make the university what it is. I don't care about fencing. I don't care about soccer.
You have to care about fence. I am not saying you have to care about fencing. He has put more money. He has put more money into the athletic department as a whole, which means the football program by itself is a beneficiary of that. Okay, I am not a fan of this.
But isn't some of that natural? Isn't some of that natural with how much more money flows everywhere now? Does he get credit for just more money being in the ecosystem now? Because everything costs more and is more?
Is it though? Is it? I mean, like, sure. Yeah, everything costs more, so the more money you put into it doesn't necessarily mean much. But they built the hockey stadium. They built a new baseball stadium. They built the football stadium again, the third freaking time. Now it's not just a football stadium. It's a communications building and everything else. They redid the basketball stadium. They built a practice facility for the football team. They redid the Guglielmo whatever the hell that name is. What is the name of the football building? He really rebuilt that.
Man, if you're gonna go that far, you may as well go as far as giving the head coach the offensive coordinator he wants, right? If you did all that, you did all that. We went through all that, and you're not going to give the guy you hired the OC that's his number one choice. Number one choice.
That's why I agree.
You hired the guy. Let him get the OC he wants. Give him his number one choice.
I I love this. I love this because I'm listening to you on my phone and through my headphones, but I'm watching you, and there's a delay, so you just start yelling at me,
and then the movement comes later. That is funny.
Yeah,
that is funny. It's delayed. I say it and then later. Yeah, it's good.
So it is really entertaining to watch. But Notre Dame football is in a better position because of the athletic director.
But that doesn't mean it's in the best position it could be in.
Hold on.
That doesn't mean it's in the best position it could be in.
Dog, you just jumped my point. I am not saying he's the best athletic director in the country. I am not saying he has put Notre Dame in a position to make it the best team in the country. But look at what Ohio State's going through right now with their Notre Dame alumni. He won't even pay the players. Jack just came out with an interview with Eric Hansen last week. It said 80%, not just the football team, 80% of the student athletes at Notre Dame are receiving some sort of NIL compensation from the university. Ohio State won't even pay their players, the football players. So Jack is there. He is. How
does that make sense?
I don't like the pace to which he does.
How does that make sense? Like Ohio State's what do I care? If we're losing all of our top recruits in the 11th hour because of NIL, what do I care if some fencing guy gets his sword paid for?
Sure, I am just saying, like, Ohio State doesn't even pay their football players. 100% of every player on Notre Dame's football team has an NIL deal agreement with the university. They're getting compensated by the school. That is actually a recruiting point you can hold over when you're trying to pull an offensive lineman out of the state of Ohio.
So, I mean, what do you?
Ohio State. No, be clear. Hold on. Ohio State football players are not playing for free, but any money they get is coming from outside of the university.
Like, you don't think? Didn't you hear? Wasn't it Justin Fields last week? Or one of them? I think it was Fields. One of them guys was saying, Ryan Day was paying more than anybody else when he was in college under the table. A Benz, a few $100,000. Like, come on. You don't think Ohio State's playing games?
That's inflammatory. I don't know. I think if Justin Fields is saying that,
you know me, Pat. I'm never inflammatory. I always be careful to not inflame anything. You know me. I'm real sensitive with my language.
I know.
But what is your point? Wait, what is your point? Is your point that because women's soccer and fencing are good, I'm not supposed to be frustrated at the OC situation?
The people that want Jack gone. The people that want Jack gone. You are fighting a losing battle. It's a total losing battle. He's not going anywhere. The university loves him. He's making a fat paycheck of $3 million a year. He's got a good life at Notre Dame, and the donors love him.
You're a jerk. Screw you. You're a jerk. Keep going. You're an ass. Keep going. Go ahead.
Inside joke, guys. Go see it tomorrow.
You're a jerk.
The university loves him. The Fat Cat donors love him. He's everything. They love the way things are working with the athletic department as a whole. And I'm sorry, that's not the only thing he has to worry about. So if you're going to sit here and you're going to say, we got to get rid of Jack. He's the problem. He should have been calling Kelly. You're just wasting your time because he's not going anywhere. When he leaves, he's going to leave when he decides he wants to leave. And one last thing, look at the deal that man cut for this team, for this football program with the playoffs. Since the start of the playoffs, this man has done nothing but cut deals. He has been a leader.
Wait a second. Am I supposed to love that we're undefeated, ranked number 1, and he negotiated that we're number 5? Because that's the deal.
That's probably a concept.
That's the deal, is that we're undefeated and we're number 1 ranked, undefeated, 12-0, and the best we could be is number 5, and we don't get a bye. Awesome. Love it, dude.
and you get a home game against the 12th ranked team in the country in South Bend, Indiana in late December. And then you have a football team that has a game under their belt, about to play in a football team that hasn't played in 5 weeks. We can go down that road again too, John.
But it's like, but wait a second. Why are we working in these extremes? Like, I'm not saying Jack has to be fired, but I'm saying, Jack, you guys screwed something up with the OC thing, and it makes my man look bad, and I'm mad at you about it. It doesn't mean that he's done nothing. It doesn't mean he's done nothing good for the university overall. All the other athletic departments are in a great spot. They're winning championships, whatever. It's just nothing I happen to care about, right? But I'm not saying the guy has to go away. I'm saying what happened here.
You're not saying it, but
what happened here?
But half of your chat room is.
What happened here?
Hey, Maggie, you know where Daddy keeps these Miller Lights?
Are you making your young child fetch you a Miller Lite? Is that what we're doing live on the air, Pat?
Well, I got to get a beer somehow. I'm talking to you. Yes, I need a beer.
So what is your point? That I'm supposed to genuflect to Jack and act like I'm not mad about the OC thing?
No, I'm pissed about the OC thing. I told you I'm pissed. And our show last night that we did together, I said he screwed up. And I said it the last time when I called him. I said, Jack's just going to keep his mouth shut because that's the right way to handle it. And what does he do? He turns around. He sends that email. By far, 1,000%, the worst thing you can do is send that email. You just embarrassed yourself. And then you make Marcus Freeman go on the stage and fall on the sword. That is awful. That was totally mishandled from the beginning. Just bad, wrong, completely embarrassing for Notre Dame. But Notre Dame is used to that. So at least Notre Dame fans should be used to that. They do it all the time.
Yeah. So I mean,
and yes, John, when your daughter's 8 years old, you'll be able to send her to get you a beer, and it'll make your life a lot easier.
Listen, I admit Jack has done a lot of things to further the university, and the overall athletic department is in a far better place. I admit all that. I like that he has a seat at the table for the playoff to make sure we're in those discussions and all that. It rubs me the wrong way. Something went wrong here, and I expect more from Notre Dame than what we got. That's all. Why can't it be that simple?
No, I agree with you. I agree. I wish it was that simple. I wish I could answer that question. Oh, thanks, honey.
It just frustrates me. Something went wrong, and it frustrates me.
You want to go throw this in the garbage for Dad?
Notre Dame's so good with messaging, and they messed this one up, and it rubs me the wrong way. And you know what else?
I totally agree.
But I don't even want to talk to you anymore because I don't want to blow the show you and I recorded last night that I'm going to post in a couple days. So hang up. So shut up and hang up.
I was trying to draw.
Because we recorded the debate last night that I'm going to post later. I'm not going to blow it all now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I hear you. Good stuff.
Whatever, man. It's just, I told you last night, my number one concern overall with all of this is that there is a crack in the foundation in the relationship between our head coach and the administration. And if that little tiny crack exists.
No, it didn't.
I don't like it.
It didn't. To tell you, it didn't. And
how do you know? How do you know? How do you know that?
Because
Marcus said it. Because Marcus said it when they made him go up there. How do you know? How do you know Marcus doesn't feel like he was done wrong by this and made to look like a fool? How do you know? How do you know?
Because he doesn't have the time or the energy to waste on bullshit.
Publicly, but the guy's still a human. And nobody likes working in an environment when you feel like those
he's
above
making-
you
And
don't
he's making
fully
$7
support
million
what you
a
want to
year
do.
be the head coach of Notre Dame.
Huh?
He's making $7 million to be. He's gonna fight the battles he can fight. He's gonna worry about what he can worry about, and he's gonna do everything in his power to make this football team better, which is what his job is. And as we said before, and as we'll say again, he has two choices. He can quit and go somewhere else, or he can keep rolling along. I never thought he would quit over this situation, and I always thought he would keep rolling along. And there could be 5 more of these situations. I don't think this man's going to leave Notre Dame.
You think there's 5 more public PR missteps this big? No way. This was a unique
How
mistake.
many did Kelly have?
It was a
How many did
unique
Kelly have?
mistake.
How many did Kelly have?
Well, how many?
How many did Kelly have? Kelly had. I mean, I did it on the show last night. You asked me to show you, and I rattled off like 12. So
Yeah, but those
without even looking.
But wait. But you're bringing up the Kelly stuff. That's way different when he has to react to what happens with players making mistakes or weird things like off the grid. That's different than an issue with the administration. Kelly reacting to, that's way different. This is dynamics between admin and head coach that make me uncomfortable. I don't like the vibe, Pat. You could tell me it's fine. Freeman got up there and told me it's fine. I don't like it. And I'm holding to that. It makes me uncomfortable. And the rest of Freeman's tenure, it's in the back of my mind. There may be that crack that I don't like. And you know what? When Ryan Day goes to the NFL and Freeman jumps to Ohio State in a couple years, I'm not listening to anybody say I'm surprised by this. That's my point. What are you laughing at? I'm serious. I'm dead ass serious. What are you laughing at? I'm dead serious, Pat. I'm dead serious.
Well, we talked about this.
I'm dead serious. If that guy leaves,
I'm trying to reserve myself.
If that guy leaves, I'm pointing to this. I am.
John, he's going to leave it someday. He leaves 10 years from now. You're going to point at this?
He can leave in 10 years after he puts a trophy in the case I've never seen placed before.
So I'm not even going to get into it. I don't even want to get into it because we're just going to rehash yesterday's show.
Yeah. So hang up. Go drink your Miller Lite. Hang up, and we'll let this. We will let the show we recorded last night ride the next few days.
All right. Love you, brother.
All right. Go drink your beer.
Bye.
Leave me alone.
I am.
Leave me alone. Jerk.
Bye.
219, you're on the line. We're just going to go all night. This is the Always Irish 24-hour show. We're just going to go all night.
I love your passion, as misguided as it might be.
Are you sure? Are you sure you do? Are you going to send me a link? Do I got to donate to hear the rest of your call or what?
Yeah, you need to donate if you don't like what we're doing.
What do you think about all this, man? Let me know. We talk.
Hey,
let me know.
How am I going to compete with Pat?
Pat's out of his mind. Pat's in a different world. There is no competing with Pat. Pat's his own entity. Like, Pat's his own Patness.
Unless I can get my 2-pound Yorkie to fetch me a Miller Lite, I can't compete with Pat.
Yeah, no, Pat's putting the kids to work, cracking the beer, mixing the drinks, bringing it up. Yeah, he's got it all going. Adam, you've listened. I saw you. You've been listening a while. What do you agree with that people have said or that I've said tonight? What do you disagree with? What's on your mind?
I've been in and out a little bit. Because
Pat just said that's why he had 3 kids. So they could get him 3 beers at once, each kid. That's perfect. That's great. That's funny. That's good.
I've been in and out a little bit because I've been dealing with the snow here in Northwest Indiana.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard everybody, but I kind of think, John, that
we all know there was issues with the hiring, and we all thought when this happened with Tommy, we all thought. I mean, at least I've told you this multiple times. Like, we love the way Utah plays. We love the way their style is.
Yep.
They beat up USC twice. We love that guy.
Twice in 1 year. I love it.
Yeah.
Physical. As far as Pac-12 goes, they're about as physical as it gets, and I love it. I loved everything about that.
Yeah. Having that guy on campus was great. And it was like, oh, this is the guy, let's do it. And then a lot of drama happened, and a lot of stuff that we probably think was BS, and we think they kind of hamstring Marcus. But it sucks because we think he's getting hamstringed. But when it's all said and done, I kind of think like we might be better off because we got, instead of 2 good coaches, I think we got 3 good coaches. Am I crazy for saying that?
No, like, you're not crazy for saying that. But again, that's when I bring up the separation of the practical versus the perceptual. Practically, you may be right. But in my mind, perceptually, I don't like how all this went. And those are separate but connected things. And that's where I have a hard time. Like, practically, Parker might be great. The O-line guy might be great. Whatever, all that. But that's a separate issue than the one I'm worried about.
Yeah, but and then on the other side, like, we've all been around Notre Dame. I mean, a lot of people that call and interact with us, we've been around Notre Dame most, like, my entire life. I have as long as I can remember, and there always seems to be an issue with hiring guys, getting the best players there. There's always a little bit of a struggle with the administration. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's always something.
There always is.
It's always something.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing because that's why we like Notre Dame, because there is some kind of standard or, you know, looking into people's background. But I'm not saying the guy from Utah has that, but somewhere somebody screwed up. I'm pretty sure they thought the buyout was less. It turned out to be more. They really didn't want to pay it. And I'm sure that's kind of how it went. And Jack thought he could. And this is what I told my wife, Tiffany. I was telling her, I think we were talking a little bit while you were in Florida and we were at dinner. I'm like, I mean, all Notre Dame had to do was say we would play a game at Utah, and you would think that would be done.
But wait a second, though. But I did hear reports, Adam. I heard reports, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard reports that Jack thought he could negotiate that buyout down from Utah and just go in there and be like, your guy wants to come play for us, you know, so, you know, you don't want an angry, disgruntled guy. You got to lighten up your buyout to let him out. He wants to come to us. Why would Utah do that? What is the benefit for Utah? You want our guys pay the full buyout. We're not giving you a Notre Dame discount for you to take our good coach. I don't blame Utah one bit. If Jack came to Utah, and said, "Oh, let's work this out. We'll come to you," I would say, screw you. You want our guys because you think you're fancy Notre Dame. Who's the team who beat you? Your rival twice this year. It wasn't you. It was us twice. I'd tell Jack to screw off.
Yeah, you're right. But we all know that guy that's cocky at your church or your country club that thinks he can negotiate anything, right?
I just think that's beyond arrogant because there's no upside. Utah doesn't need a Notre Dame a home game. Go ahead and win the Pac-12. You don't need Notre Dame. Win the Pac-12, and you'll get the credit you need. They don't need a Notre Dame matchup to do that. So if that was the narrative, that's arrogant. That's Notre Dame arrogance. If Jack went in a room thinking he could negotiate them down, that is why people don't like us, Adam. they think, oh, Notre Dame thinks they're better than everybody else. No, you're not. You got to prove that.
But do you think that theory is off base? I guarantee that went through their minds.
Dude, I just, there's no benefit for Utah for agreeing to that. If we're taking them, pay the full buyout. It's easy. Pay the full buyout or screw off. That's what I would have said. I don't care about you offering us games or nothing. I'd say we don't need your games. We just beat your biggest rival twice in 1 year, and you, on the other end, handed them the Heisman. We don't need to help you, and we don't need anything. That's what I would have said.
Yeah, but how much money would Notre Dame bring them to Utah if you played them a game in September? I mean, I'm sure that would give them more. That'd give them more than their Pac-12 membership. I'm sure.
I just think it'd be arrogant for Notre Dame to assume Utah would just bend over for Royal Notre Dame and the Gold Dome and just bend over. No, I don't blame Utah. I would have said you pay the full buyout and also screw off. That's what I would have said to Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Notre Dame. I love Notre Dame, but that's what I would have told them.
Hey, John, we're agreeing on this. I'm just throwing theories out there. That's all. But in the end,
I think the offense is going to be really good. Adam, that's the thing. I'm all mad about this. I still think the offense is going to be really good. I do. I genuinely do. Like I'm still mad about this concept, but also I think Notre Dame's offense is going to be really exciting this year. Like both can be true. That's what I'm struggling with, people.
Yes.
I can be mad about the process, be mad about behind the scenes, be mad about money and resources and all that and the PR. And at the end of the day, when I lay down, I go, yeah, I think Notre Dame's offense is going to look really good this year. Way better than last year.
John, we talk every day. And
is that good or bad for us? Is that good or bad for us? Are we getting dumber or smarter? Let me ask. Are we getting dumber or smarter?
Maybe somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. Am I just overreacting? I'm sorry, but geez, if I'm Utah, I'm telling them screw off.
I just think it's way more in the middle with everything, because you think about it like Saban got turned down twice before he went to Tommy Rees. He got turned down twice. So he was it's just our hire was so public with Freeman at the hockey game.
All right, let me ask you this. No. We're going to skip this, and I'm going to go right to the point with you. Do you personally think Freeman feels slighted or insulted or not fully supported by what happened with the OC hire? I'm not asking about rumors or whatever. I'm asking if you have a worry he feels that way. Yes or no?
Okay. So I'm going to kind of wind this into a couple things. And I think we've texted about this. I'm going to kind of, you know where I'm going here.
All right. Give it to me.
Yes, I do. I do think he's been slighted, but we've kind of talked. I don't think he feels like you had 100% support from the beginning on the people around him, on his staff, all along. And then now I feel like this spring is the 100% new beginning of the Freeman era. He's finally got all the people around him. And I think I at least have talked to people. I don't think the previous OC was 100% behind Marcus Freeman.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? There is something to the point of, in a lot of ways, this is a fresh start. Like the last big chunk of Kelliness is out of here and all that. And the whole program has more of Freeman's DNA now. Like, I agree with all that. It rubs me the wrong way how this all happened.
Yeah, it was like almost like a half fresh start. Like we were trying to hang on, that we were happy with what Kelly was doing, but wanted kind of new start. But like I feel like now it's really the fresh start. And I've definitely talked with somebody, and I'm friends with a few parents that have players on the team, and they said the players love Parker. They love him. The players have not winked an eye with the Parker hire.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. That buy-in is a big deal. That trust is a big deal. Him already being in the program, running a position group that we're known for being elite at helps. And I have no doubt that the guy's going to be a reasonably good OC. My problem is more behind the scenes, existential, big picture, because something went wrong and I'm just uncomfortable. That's all.
Yeah, there might have just been I feel like there was like maybe a little mix up with some stuff. I truly don't. Maybe Freeman was really mad for a day or so, but I think maybe he was like, I'm okay with it because really I kind of had Parker as like my 1A. So let's roll. We got a ton of offensive talent. We got a great offensive line. Our running backs are awesome. Receivers, I mean, there's no way Styles is going to be that bad again. Colsey's coming. Merriweather's coming. The new freshman.
I was going to say, and then all the recruits. Yeah.
And Price? You ain't even seen Price yet. People that don't go to the spring game don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That guy looks like he might be the best back out of all of them.
Yeah.
Here's
the thing I like about this year the most. And it feels good to actually talk about the future. Here's what I like the most. On offense, the two groups holding us back the most from being where we want to be were quarterback and wide receiver. Both of those groups have been upgraded massively. That's a huge plus and a benefit to everybody involved. Credit to everybody involved.
Yep. And John, honestly, I think I tweeted this or put it in the chat. I don't want to hate on Tommy. I don't hate Tommy. But is anybody really that's watched Notre Dame football with a passion the last 3 years going to say, oh, my God, we can't lose this OC that's calling this offense? If we lose him, I don't know what we're going to do. Nobody's thinking that.
Yeah.
Our offenses weren't.
But now, but here's where this gets complicated. I've been doing this over 3 hours tonight, 2.5 hours. I don't even know how long. I'm not getting into Kelly, but that's where it's been a long night. But that's where you get into the discussion of, okay, Reese's offenses weren't amazing, but was he being held back because of the talent and he never had a good quarterback and this and this and this and this? Like everything always leads to the next thing that leads to the next thing.
But John, I'll never forget it because I was actually, and this is crazy I was thinking about today. I was actually on my boat cleaning it, almost getting ready for putting it away.
What do you got, a yacht? What are you, Tiger Woods? You got a damn yacht? You didn't invite me? No, you didn't invite me on your private yacht. You didn't invite me.
Hey, look at you.
What?
You were on vacation for 2 weeks. You were on vacation for 2 weeks and you don't even have a tan. What were you doing?
Give me a break, man. Give me a damn break.
So, but before the North Carolina game, I said, we had this conversation and we said, but Tommy has been recruiting these guys for 4 years. He's the one recruiting the skill players. Is he not?
Yeah,
so they're his. They're his.
Yeah.
He recruited them.
Yeah,
he recruited Drew Pine to be his quarterback.
That's
Tommy
true.
Reese recruited Drew Pine and offered him a scholarship.
Yeah. Did he know that he was 5'2" when he did that?
Yeah, he recruited Angeli. He recruited these guys that he's complaining about. So if he goes to Alabama, lights it up, that's fine. But you know something? I can call plays at Alabama and light it up.
Yeah, I
You
know.
got
Yeah.
55 stars on your roster.
So let me
But
ask you this. Let's bring this into the future. What is the record that you will end the year next year feeling like good year for Notre Dame, good second year for Marcus Freeman? What is that record for you?
He has to be 10-2.
Does it matter to you who the two are? Or is it 10-2 overall? Or does it matter who it is?
No, it don't matter. 10-2. Has to be 10-2.
You don't have a
Even if
problem.
he
What if,
loses-
okay, what if Marcus Freeman starts out his tenure 0-2 against USC?
Well,
You're telling me that ain't gonna bug you?
I guess,
Hey, Mr. Season Ticket holder in the comfy seats with the back. There's no way you're telling me if Marcus starts out 0-2 against USC and you're there for it this year, it isn't going to bother you. I know you long enough to know that's going to piss you off.
guess,
That's going to bug you.
I guess you're calling me out. I guess you're right on that. Yeah, if he was 10-2 and lost to Duke and Navy, that probably wouldn't make you happy. If he was 10-2 and lost Duke or NC State and USC, that probably wouldn't make you happy.
Right.
I'm just looking kind of for the, we don't want the 4 loss.
And the other
But
thing
2
is,
loss
too,
on
here's the
average.
other thing, too. Let's say it was 10-2. If you went 10-2, that means that of the big 3 games, you're winning 2 and you're losing 1. But at least if you did that, it means you're not losing these dumb games to teams you have no business losing to. That even could be considered a sizable improvement, right? Because at least you're eliminating like a Marshall and a Stanford. Like you could even argue that would be a step in the right direction. Just eliminating that dumb loss. 2 of them, right?
If you lost to Clemson, what would you think? If you lost to at Clemson and say Ohio State and beat USC, would you be happy with that? Would you be okay with that?
That's about the best case scenario in the dynamic you're pitching me. I need that USC win. Over all else, Ohio State, Clemson, as much as I want those wins, I need the USC win over anything else. Number one concern.
Don,
Number one concern.
I feel
I
like
need the USC. I need that I love Marcus Freeman. I've been pushing for him from day one. I can't have my guy go 0-2 against USC. You can't do it. It doesn't matter. I love the guy. I love him. I was Freeman Factor before people started making money off Freeman Factor shirts. I started it. I can't have my guy going 0-2 against USC. It's going to throw me into an existential crisis.
And you know something? That's my biggest fear about Marcus Freeman is that I see everything he does, and I love everything he does where he understands Notre Dame and the Notre Dame spirit. For some reason, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, I'm kind of concerned that he doesn't quite understand the SC rivalry. Like you don't hear him talk about it as much as he does just being Notre Dame, kind of like how Lou was and Era and everything. He's got that down, but I feel like he might not have the SC thing down, which can be confusing for someone that's not a Notre Dame guy. You don't understand because it's weird. It's LA and South Bend. It's weird, but I feel like maybe he needs to get a little talking to how serious this is.
Come on. You don't think he knows that? You don't think he's been around college football long enough to know Notre Dame and USC are battles of contrasting lifestyles?
When you're an Ohio State guy, you're kind of blinded to the Ohio State and Michigan thing. Like, I'm sure he does. But maybe he needs to be told, you need to crank it up. Like, this is serious. You can't lose to USC.
It's a very, very bad look for you to be a new Notre Dame coach and start out 0-2 against SC. I can't handle it.
Yeah,
I can't. I just can't do it.
I'm not
I
like-
can't handle it. So, and now you got them
I'm
coming
not
to your
hating on him.
place. Now you're not going out there. They're coming to your place. Like, you got to balance that ledger. As much as I love Freeman personally, 0-2 is unacceptable. You cannot start that way. I don't care how many players they bought. I don't care how much the NIL. I can't have the Notre Dame guy start out 0-2. If it was any other Notre Dame coach, I'd be like a lunatic over it. I love this guy. He can't start 0-2. You can't do it.
Yeah, I agree with you, John. And the only reason I say that kind of theory, because if you talk to like college football fans that are in different parts of the country, they don't really understand the Notre Dame USC thing. It's weird because we're not like bordering. We're not like in the same state.
And there's no conference. It's not a conference thing either.
Yeah.
Like Michigan, Ohio State. Yeah.
So it's kind of something that if you're not in it your whole life, you don't really understand it. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not like hating on Marcus over that. He may not quite when he took the job, he might have not quite understood it.
Yeah. And listen.
Even when he was DC, you know?
It's just so hard. Like Mark's saying in the chat, the first game was not a fair matchup. It was like a midget against a Heisman guy. Like, I mean, that's true. But whatever the facts are, I just can't have. It's just a big deal. It means the world. Like Newt Rockne made this all what it is based off traveling on that train to California to beat USC. Like, I can't have Marcus go 0-2. It's really going to hurt me. It's going to hurt me personally.
Yeah,
it is.
As much as we're talking about this now, John, to be honest with you, I think they're going to win that game. It's
You
at
have
Notre
to.
Dame.
You
People are
got to
gonna be
find a
jacked.
way. You got to find a way. Like, it's
They're
at
gonna win
home
that
this
game.
time. You got to
I'm
find a
telling you.
way. Find a way.
They're going to beat Ohio State, and Ohio State's up in the air, and then they're going to beat USC. So the season, I'm telling you, like I'm pumped for the season, and I guess the reason I was calling originally, but me and you, we get off the track, but I'm pumped for the season, but what I'm most worried about is that front six, because I think we play. Most of the time we play like probably I get 4 D linemen and then 2 linebackers. That front six, everywhere else, I think we're solid. It's that front six that just scares me. It really does.
Yeah, we're a little light, and the linebacker situation is weird because, like, there's 2 different things that I see, Adam. One is up front on the D line, due to NFL and graduation, we're just light on bodies. Like, we don't have the bulk that I would want. Like, where's your Lewis Nix? Like, where's Lewis Nix? Clogging up the whole middle. Nobody can run. We don't have those kind of bodies right now, and I don't like that. And that's going to show the most in the 3 biggest games we all have circled next year. So that's number one. So I don't like that. But those linebackers, there's all sorts of names and 4 stars after their names and everything, but I wasn't impressed with them at all last year. Sorry, I wasn't. I need more.
No, it's almost like sometimes these guys, and we've talked about this through text, there's definitely a theory out there that there's more talented players sitting the bench.
Yeah,
at the
and
linebacker room
we've
right
been
now.
through that, and whenever people say, why does Bertrand look slow and out of position and miss this and that? And then experts with more experience than me say, you're only highlighting the ones he messes up, but not the other times he's in position. That's what I hear from those who know X's and O's more than me. Just telling you what I've been told.
I'm just saying.
Just telling you what they tell me.
Linebackers should flash. They should flash. You should notice them without trying.
Yep.
That's my problem with the Notre Dame linebackers.
Yeah, and so that defense, they need to tighten things up. I need Al. You need to go from rusty back to golden, my man. Let's get it done. Come on. I'm serious.
Hey,
It's
buddy.
Al Rusty.
I
Listen,
know.
Adam, we were second to last in the whole United States in allowing touchdowns when another team's in the red zone. How can that be real? How can Notre Dame be the second worst team in America of you're inside the 20? Why don't we just ole and let you go in the end zone? That isn't even real life.
John, I heard a stat today. I don't know if it's right, but I heard a stat that said Maris only had 5 tackles for loss the whole season. I don't know if that's right or not, but I heard that stat today.
Listen, I love his hair, but I just need it to be by the ball, not just flopping around, not shedding a block 3 seconds late on a blitz, okay?
I mean, oh gosh, it's going to be this line. I'm telling you, this OC drama, we're going to look back next year and be like, why were we even stressed out? Because we're going to score a lot of points. We have way too much offensive talent.
I already said 80 times. My concern with the dynamic is not so much practical as it is perceptual and existential, worrying there may be a crack in the foundation of the relationship between Jack or the administration and Marcus. I think Parker will be fine if for no other reason than the talent's way better.
Yep.
Separate issues.
Yeah, you're right.
They're separate issues. The practicals, they're separate issues.
They're separate. And you know how you know they messed up, John? Because if they didn't mess up, Jack Swarbrick would have never put out a statement. If they were squeaky clean, the guy just chose someone else, he would never put out a statement. He put out a statement because he screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think they were embarrassed that it looked bad, and then he felt like he had to say something.
Yeah. And it's a different world now. All this isn't under the wrap. I'm sure there's been years before we're going to hire guys that didn't work out because of buyouts and certain things. But the problem is there was no social media. There was no, you know what I mean? There was no pictures at the hockey game. There was no all that stuff.
Right.
But now everything is out there. It's 24/7.
Yep.
So if you're going to do something like that, it has to be a done deal.
Yeah.
It has to be a done deal if you're going to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you. All right. Final point, Adam. Let it rip. What's your final takeaway?
Final takeaway is let's all, okay, this is our last rant night, guys. Let's all come together. Parker's our OC. Let's look forward to these next couple of years because these next years are huge, man. The new playoff, everything.
Yep.
Let's all come together.
It's a big deal. This is all a major point. Like, it all comes to a head. Marcus will be there a few years, lines up with the new playoff. This is a key period of time. You're right about that.
Yep. It's a big few years to get ready for the new playoff. And let's I think it's time for all of us to come together and let's support the team and let's really start pushing forward. And I think almost ranting starts to get a little, negative for recruiting too. So let's all get behind Marcus. Let's come together and let's push forward, man. We got a hard schedule, which is fine.
Yeah.
But it's spring. It's about to be spring after this last snowstorm for us. But let's look forward to spring. And if we can score a little more points, I don't see any reason why we can't be 10-2, 12-0, 11-1. Let's do it, guys.
There you go.
And
love it.
And John can never take a 2-week vacation again and not come back with a tan.
I got a tan. I got the lights. Come on. Give me a break. All right, you're done. Bye. I'll text you later.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you.
See ya later.
Great show tonight. It was fun.
Later. This has been a riot. I've had a good time. Pat says, but if the offense is good enough to win, what's the issue? The issue is, even if the offense is good enough to win, with Freeman's second choice for OC, that doesn't mean that Freeman isn't holding resentment that he was not allowed to hire his number one choice for OC. That's not confusing. Like, that's very straightforward. That's the issue. even if they're good, that doesn't mean Freeman doesn't have stored in the back of his mind, these guys aren't really behind me when the Ohio State job comes open. I'm out of here. That's my issue. All right. 219, you're on the line. JD, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, John?
Hey, long time, man. How are you? It's good to talk to you.
Doing good, brother. Doing good. I just had to go to my stepdaughter's school event thing, and I saw you were doing a podcast, live, and I was like, well, I got to get on. So
Beautiful. It's been a while since we talked. I want to know, what do you think about the Parker hire, the OC situation, the spring outlook? What's on your mind?
So I just kind of want to think about something that, I don't think this how it really was, but with like poor Marcus, knowing who, we couldn't get, the guy from Utah, and did he basically parade him at the hockey game to basically tell us, everybody, he knew that Jack wasn't going to pay for something, but he just said, well, I can't come out and say something, but I can go ahead and show everybody, hey, I'm going to bring him out here. Here's who I wanted. But of course, they're probably not going to pay for him, and they're going to make something up, and I'll have to go with my second choice. But without him basically saying something and throwing himself on the bus, he basically just told us all, hey, look, everybody, I'm trying, but look what I got to deal with.
I think Freeman is way too mature to do something like that, because that's something that I would do to prove a point.
Yeah.
The way I read it was, when I looked at Freeman at that hockey game and all the images and the video of them there courting him, I took that as a sign Notre Dame knows this is a done deal, and they're flaunting it, and they want it on TV. They want it on Twitter. They want everybody to see that they're doing this. And my thought was, the only way you're doing that is if you know for sure you're going to get the guy. That is why when they didn't, I was so offended and upset, because you don't get to make that public circus show unless you know you're getting them. It was a big risk. And that's why I felt mistakes were made, because you don't do that show if you don't know you're getting them. You don't. That's PR 101. You don't do that.
Yeah, and Marcus is a really smart man. That's why I couldn't believe he did it. That's why I'm like, there's something got to be going on. There's got to be something.
There was a mistake, and it could.
Or he's got,
could just be a simple miscommunication, bad timing. It could be something very innocent, but the result was very bad nationally. Like we took a hit. The media's been rough.
Yeah, and I mean, and Marcus is still young. I mean, he's a year younger than we are. And he's just become a head coach, and there's a lot of new stuff he's got to learn, and it's kind of a learning experience. It just, like you said, though, national-wise and outlook-wise, it just looked terrible. It killed just any momentum we kind of have going and excitement going into next year. I mean, I'm still excited. Everybody's fired up, but, this offseason we can, of course, Notre Dame just can't go through an offseason with nothing going, any kind of chaos.
It's always something. It's always something, isn't it? But I still feel like in the midst of all that, on the other side of all that, I honestly feel like Notre Dame's offense is going to be really good next year. I'm still mad about the process, but I think they're going to be really good. I do.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have the players to do it. So, I mean, Parker couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, you got a great, you got an offense that's going to be there, and you got a great O-line. I mean, it's not like you're starting over.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I just think he's got a lot of pieces. So you just got to put them in the right spot and let them make plays. Make it simple. Let the boys, don't let them think too much. Let them play. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. And let's just, we got the horses to do it. I feel like a lot of times our players just think too much instead of playing. And if they just let them use their athleticism and just run simple things and let it catch, do a 5-yard pass and let these receivers make some moves and get 8 and 9 yards on it. Get the ball on the outside with the pitch, pull a guard to come over and, hit, take out the linebacker and let, Price or somebody just run through there and get like 5 or 6 yards on a carry.
So let me ask you this, JD. Number one is, I'm going to see you at the Blue and Gold game, correct? We'll be there, right?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep.
So can't wait to see you guys, you and the family. That'll be fun. Let me ask you this. looking into next year? What is your top confidence and what is your number one concern? I'm interested.
Top confidence is I think we see an improved offense. And
I agree.
I am all
I
for
agree.
Hartman. I love Buckner. I love Buckner, but I am putting all my number one reps for Hartman. And I need a quarterback that can, see the field and just make plays. And I just think the offense, with everything we got coming back, is going to be huge. The concern I have right now is our linebackers. I think we have some really young linebackers, and I think those guys just need one good summer, and I would unleash those athletes. Like Snead, I think needs to be on the field.
Collie.
Prince Collie, those young. Give me those two guys at linebacker and let them eat. And the linebackers is the only thing that's scaring me. That's my worry this year's linebackers. But offense, especially quarterback, is what I'm most, excited for.
Yeah, and if you really look at it, here's how I think about it. Last year, it was Freeman's first year. All that attention, all that media pressure. And his starting quarterback went down in the first half of week 2. And then he was dealing with a very limited backup the whole year. And they accomplished pretty good things within that frustrating dynamic. If it's Hartman as the starter and he's healthy, Notre Dame is so far ahead of where they were last year, it's not even funny. Don't you agree?
Oh, yeah. And, a lot of the problems was last year is we'd go 3 and out, and the defense would be right back on the field tired. You give this boys some rest, now they don't have any excuse. Or like, hey, last year you might have been, offense went 3 and out, and you had to come right back on the field. Well, guess what? Now you're not. You're getting to sit there to rest for maybe 8 to 14 to 16 or 20 plays. It don't matter.
Yep.
Down the field, and we score. And also, you play sports. I have. Especially on football, if I'm a defensive player, I'm going to get more jacked up if the offense goes down there and scores.
Yeah, it all connects.
The offense goes.
Yeah, they
out,
feed
I'm
off each
like,
other.
Oh,
they
great,
feed off
here we
each
go
other.
again.
Yeah, they feed off each other,
Yes.
good and bad in a way. They could feed off each other. It could work for you or against you. I think Parker is going to be fine. Like, my issues with this are just more bigger perceptual picture. I think Parker's going to be fine. He already knows the guys. They're already bought in. They already know his vibe. He's a war daddy on the recruiting trail. Like, there's a lot to like. I'm just frustrated. Notre Dame got dragged in the media for 2 weeks over this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because and I feel bad for Parker. Because if he has one bad game, it's all going to come back.
He's not qualified. That's what happens when you hire the inside guy because you don't have any other options.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what you're going to get. Yep,
oh, yeah.
You're right.
Oh, he hired his best friend, just like Brian Kelly did, and that's one of their best friends. I feel more bad this year for Parker. He is literally like, remember the Titans. You can't lose a game.
Yeah, he deserves full support. And I'm going to give it to him. Like, it's not his fault we all ended up in this situation this spring. It's not that guy's fault at all, So I think he'll be fine. And a Hartman, if he's healthy, the offense will be better. Look at it this way, JD. Here's how I look at it. When you look at the offense, big picture, like last year, the 2 areas that I thought were the weakest, quarterback, wide receiver. The 2 areas that have improved the most on the team, quarterback, wide receiver. I love that. That's a great sign.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to see Hartman with this offensive line and wide receivers and running backs. I can't wait. And I hope the players and they all buy in, and I hope they all get along really good and have a great summer and just, click and start, learning each other's, where they're going to be at and all that. And I think we got some easier games at the beginning that helps.
Yep.
And then, we got the big ones.
Yep. I was going to say, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and it leads you in, and you know what it's going to be, JD. A beautiful late September night, sunshine, the sun's going down, not too hot, not too cold, warm. Everything lines up for Notre Dame to take advantage. Unlike last year, they're the ones coming to our place with the new quarterback in an away game. The whole thing's flipped. They're coming in with the new guy. We have an experienced guy. It's at our place. Notre Dame needs to run the table to Ohio State and then beat them. Period.
Well, I think Notre Dame doesn't just need to run the table. We need to win by almost like 20-some points a game, because if we don't have the crowd and fans excited for that game, then they're going to sell their tickets, and Ohio State will be just like Georgia, and that whole stadium will be red.
Well,
and great, because those Ohio State fans will buy that. So I'm hoping if we blow everybody out, then people will be like, hey, I'm not selling my tickets. I'm going to make sure I'm at that game and support Notre Dame, and we actually have a decent home crowd.
Yeah, I think NC State is tricky in there. Like, you should be able to handle it, but it's a little tricky. But that's the big one. And then Duke's, listen, man, Ohio State, Duke, Louisville, USC, that's a tricky little stretch. That's a really tricky little stretch. Yeah. It really is. It doesn't sound Clemson like it, but it is.
In November. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm looking at that run in a row of Ohio State, Duke, Louisville. And like, you're like, oh, Louisville, that's nothing. Well, the issue is when you go to Louisville, that's their Super Bowl, and it's going to be a blackout. And to me, I look at it as it's Louisville. But to them, it's their Super Bowl. It's going to be a blackout. It's going to be loud. If you give them one reason to get excited, that's going to go off. It's just tough. But you gotta run the table to Ohio State.
He's got a really good offense too. So that's going to be a tough one for our defense.
Here's the other thing.
Brom's got all those trick plays he runs and all that stuff.
Let me ask you this. I love Marcus Freeman. He's my guy. I was on him early. Okay. I can't have my guy start out 0-2 against USC, JD. It hurts my soul. It hurts my heart, man.
No.
I can't have my guy start 0-2. You got to stop that. I don't care if that guy has a Heisman or not. You can't. I love Marcus. He can't start 0-2. You can't. It can't happen.
No. And if everybody stays healthy, he has no excuse. No excuse. This last year, we'll give you because we had a backup quarterback. This year, if Hartman is playing in that game, there's no excuse. Yeah. There is no excuse why we don't beat USC. Like, you can't, there's no, we cannot go 0-2 against our rival. No, because we know.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's hard because I love Marcus so much and I want him to succeed so much. But the issue is, I got to be honest. Like, if it's any Notre Dame coach who starts out 0-2 against USC, I'm going, what are we doing here? That's our number one priority every year is that game. So it's at home. We need to get behind them and they need to win that ball game. Period. They got to win that ball game, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. 100%.
Beautiful. Well, JD, thanks for calling. I've gone way over 3 hours, I think, on this show. I'm about to wrap it up. Tell the family I said hi. Tell Carrie I said hi. And then we'll see you at the Blue and Gold game soon, my friend.
Sounds good. Appreciate you, brother. We appreciate everything you do. And everybody just keep supporting John, like the videos, and spread his word.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good one. Have a good weekend. We'll see you. I'll see you at the Blue and Gold.
Hey, you too. Go Irish.
Later, bro.
Sounds good, brother. We'll see you.
See you. All right, folks. This was quite an adventure. We started at 6:30 and it's after 10. It just happens. I love this. This is it for me. Like, this is my element. This is what I want to do. I love this. But it's gone on long enough. I can't go on forever. So thanks, everybody, for being here. I'm sorry I was gone on vacation. I'm glad we're back. We're back in the mix. Blue and Gold. I'm going to go there. If anybody wants to meet up, we'll do that. I got more videos coming over the weekend. And a debate with Pat we recorded last night that's going to come out over the weekend. I might cut it in two because they're separate parts. He and I had a debate. We'll put that out. And then we'll go live again next week. Okay. Everybody have a good weekend. Stay safe. Stay out of the snow, whatever. Drink a cold one. Have a good weekend. See ya.